President Trump said the U.S. will hold off attacking Iran since negotiations over Iran's nuclear program and reopening the Strait of Hormuz are still ongoing. The pause follows a sharp escalation Friday when Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps struck 2 oil tankers attempting to transit the strait under U.S. military escort. Tehran claims the ships used an undeclared route. This comes as a New York Times visual investigation found evidence suggesting the U.S. dropped a 2,000-pound bomb on a home on Keshem Island, killing 3 people.
Great.
Israeli airstrikes pounded Gaza over the weekend, killing at least 25 Palestinians. On Saturday, the strikes killed 7 people across the Strip. On Sunday, the toll climbed higher. At least 18 were killed as warplanes hit Gaza City, Deir al-Balah, and Khan Yunis.
Up to $100,000
Gaza's health ministry
if it was
says
a guided
152 people have been killed in Israeli attacks in July, the highest of any month so far this year. Since the so-called ceasefire took effect in October, Israeli strikes have killed at least 1,200 Palestinians. This is an eyewitness to one of the airstrikes Sunday.
They said there was a truce, but where is the truce? This truce is just us collecting corpses, collecting flesh, collecting brains, dismembered men and hands. Why?
Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche formally terminated President Trump's $1.8 billion so-called anti-weaponization fund late Sunday. The fund was designed to potentially compensate rioters in the January 6th insurrection, which drew criticism even from Republicans. Blanche's order caps weeks of negotiations with Republican Senators John Cornyn of Texas and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, both of whom blocked his nomination for Attorney General over the fund. The Senate Judiciary Committee is set to vote on Blanche's confirmation Tuesday. The U.S. is experiencing its largest measles outbreak in 30 years, with more than 2,300 cases as of last month. A cluster of
this fucking great clip where he's talking to a journalist and he's like, you probably wouldn't understand because you're not a scientist. She goes, neither are you.
That's great.
Kennedy Jr.
Didn't RFK cause a measles outbreak on the fucking American Samoa as well? Was that measles? Awesome. I love that he's like consistently causing measles outbreaks. That's awesome. Bro is a fucking plague rat. Like, RFK is a literal plague rat. Everywhere he goes, the measles break out. Get rid of him.
He's a super carrier. He's a carrier form flood.
Imagine carrying the Kennedy name and acting like this. Like, your entire family must fucking despise you. You must be the most despised cunt with the Kennedy name for 100 years. Imagine going to Samoa and convincing people that vaccines are bad and their kids die. Fuck you. Literal plague rat. You know how they say that fucking non-white people are dirty? Why is it always white people bringing disease to other people? But no, it's definitely other people who are dirty. Hey, which civilization was it that figured out germs without science? Was it Egypt? They figured out that, like, washing their hands makes people survive more? Was that Egypt?
I mean, Egypt had pretty advanced medicine. I don't know how deep that goes. I'm not...
There was a couple civilizations that went through, like, medical and sort of germ theory adjacent stuff without actually understanding it properly. They just sort of saw a correlation between, like, cleaning and not dying.
Well, like, also, like, I know several cultures did quarantines.
Mm-hmm. I mean, look at Pavelia Island during the plague. Inoculations started in West Africa. Exactly my point. Like, what? Which culture quarantined first? The first official state-mandated system of quarantine was established by the Ragusan authorities in a maritime city-state of Ragusa, Croatia, specifically implementing 30-day isolation periods in 1377 against the plague. So when did Pavalia happen? Early settlements 421. Residents fled in 1378. Quarantine station from 1776. Over a century because of the plague. So that's not even that long ago. So the Croatians did it 400 years ahead of them. Crazy. I mean, when did Egypt have medical lines? 3000 BCE. I think Africa wins. I think that's a clear victory. Only predates quarantines by 4,000 years. All right. All good.
Defend his role in propelling anti-vaccine policies and skepticism nationwide. In an interview with CNN on Sunday, RFK Jr. failed to take responsibility for the measles outbreak.
The outbreak is happening on your watch. And even before becoming HHS secretary, for years, you have been one of the leading voices questioning the efficacy of vaccines. Do you accept some responsibility for this measles outbreak?
Absolutely not.
Capital One says it closed the Trump Organization's accounts after an internal anti-money laundering investigation. The disclosure marks the first time a bank has formally tied money laundering concerns to Trump's family business. Capital One made the claim while seeking to dismiss the Trump Organization's lawsuit. That suit accuses Capital One of illegally debanking the Trump Organization on religious or political grounds, a claim the bank now disputes. President Trump's social media platform, Truth Social, launched a new service Saturday, allowing paid users to get alerts for new posts made by the president and other top accounts before general users. Trump has 13 million followers on the platform and regularly uses it to release official statements. Democratic Senators Elizabeth Warren and Adam Schiff have blasted the service, saying the subscription, quote, appears to be an outrageous abuse of the president's office for his personal benefit that undermines everyday investors and the integrity of our markets while enriching Wall Street and other wealthy insiders, unquote. The Trump administration Friday dropped its case against the former U.S. Olympian canoeist Davy Hearn, who is accused of vandalizing the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool. On June 19th, Hearn stopped by the pool while on a 64-mile bike ride. He says he touched the pool to see what it felt like and was then arrested, handcuffed, and held for 5 hours by U.S. Park Police. President Trump, in response, blasted U.S. Attorney Jeanine Pirro, who said the damage to the reflecting pool was due to poor construction and not the act of vandals, as Trump previously claimed. In Spain, migrants are returning to Morocco from the enclave of Ceuta after attempting to cross the border. The local government reports as many as 86 migrants were killed in the crackdown. Some of the victims drowned. Others were crushed while trying to climb the breakwater that holds the border fence. About 60,000 people crossed into the Spanish enclave from Morocco since Thursday. Authorities say virtually all have now returned voluntarily. Spain's Civil Guard officers installed a 500-meter floating barrier along the sea border Saturday. Meanwhile, hundreds of Ceuta residents rallied against a planned far-right anti-immigrant demonstration, forcing organizers to cancel it. This is a Moroccan migrant who swam into Spain's Ceuta.
We're really hungry. We're trying to hold out. We're holding out a bit. We eat a little, sometimes even though it's not a good meal. We do it so we don't die, that's all. We eat sugar, cakes, things like that. We drink water.
Oh, let them eat cake.
We'll have more on this story after headlines. In Greece, 2 firefighters were killed Sunday when 2 helicopters battling a massive
says we're
wildfire
suffering while
collided
he gets
west of
cakes.
Athens. 2 other crew members in one of the helicopters were rescued. More than 100 homes were destroyed overnight this weekend in blazes that broke out around the coastal village of Porto Cremene. Hundreds of people have been evacuated. This is a local resident.
It's not a good situation. This is extremely sad. The wind is very strong and keeps changing direction. It's difficult to deal with. The firefighters who are trained and experienced can't contain it. How can we?
Meanwhile, Hungary's temporarily shut down the country's sole nuclear power plant for the first time in more than 40 years amidst a scorching heat wave and severe drought that triggered water use restrictions in more than 100 cities and villages. In more related news, Britain's National Farmers Union warns rising heat and a water drought could lead to shortages of certain foods in parts of England. This is at least the 3rd drought in 5 years, with some areas of England not seeing rain in over a month. Here in the United States and Washington State, nearly 65,000 people have received evacuation orders amidst intensifying wildfires around the city of Spokane.
I guess
Local
when you
officials say blazes in the region have destroyed more than 700 homes and businesses. In Cuba, the electricity grid collapsed Sunday, plunging the island into another nationwide blackout. The island has suffered at least 3 blackouts in July alone due to a U.S.-imposed oil blockade following the abduction of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro back in January. Venezuela had been Cuba's primary oil supplier. Imports from Mexico also halted amidst increased U.S. pressure. Another immigrant has died in ICE custody. 29-year-old Prisciliano Trejo Ricano reportedly began feeling ill while jailed at the Stewart Detention Center in Lumpkin, Georgia, and was reportedly denied medical care. He was suffering from an aggressive form of leukemia and died July 24th after being transferred to the hospital. At least 50 immigrants have died in ICE custody since Trump returned to office.
So these are just concentration camps.
In Texas, a key witness in the Houston ICE fatal shooting of 52-year-old Mexican father Lorenzo Salgado Araujo is speaking out after his release from an ICE jail. Surveillance footage and witness accounts have repeatedly refuted ICE claims that Salgado had attempted to assault ICE agents when he was shot in the abdomen and killed. Jose Trinidad Rojas Pliego was a passenger in Salgado's van. He spoke to CNN last week.
Did Lorenzo threaten ICE agents?
That's a lie. At no point, either behind nor in front.
At no point were the ICE agents in front or behind?
Lorenzo never did that.
That's Jose Trinidad Rojas Pliego. Republican Senator Bernie Moreno of Ohio is calling on his ex-son-in-law, Ohio Congressmember Max Miller, to step down in light of his daughter's domestic abuse allegations. Miller's ex-wife, Emily Moreno, the daughter of Senator Moreno, claims that Miller burned her by throwing hot water at her, held a gun to her head, and fractured their 2-year-old daughter's collarbone. Miller's also accused of abuse by former Trump White House press secretary Stephanie Grisham, who was in a relationship with Miller prior to his marriage to Moreno. On social media, Senator Moreno wrote, quote, "He should not serve in the House of Representatives. I believe Max Miller needs to seek professional help to end the clear pattern of abuse he's left in his wake. I believe he should not be free to continue endangering others until he does," said Senator Moreno. In Georgia, Republican U.S. Senate candidate Mike Collins is facing scrutiny over his son-in-law, David Allen Scheer II, who's been linked to white nationalist and anti-Semitic online content. Reports revealed Scheer shared neo-Nazi imagery and produced promotional material for Collins' private trucking company. Collins ended his news conference early last week after repeatedly declining to answer questions about his son-in-law. Democratic Senator John Ossoff said, quote, "He needs to apologize for his office's ties to white supremacists. He needs to release every single email, text message, and communication between his office and these white supremacists. And he needs to finally answer the question you've all been asking him for 2 weeks and that he's refused to answer, which is, how much did he or his businesses pay this neo-Nazi for his services?" Ossoff asked, who's running against Congressmember Collins for Senate. And here in New York, Dominican-American scholar, historian, and prison abolitionist Dr. Johanna Fernandez has passed away after a years-long battle with cancer. She was 55 years old. As a professor of history at Brooke College and CUNY Graduate Center, Fernandez was a leading scholar of the Young Lords, publishing the award-winning book, The Young Lords, A Radical History, in 2019. In 2015, she co-curated the exhibition Presente, The Young Lords in New York. Fernandez also created the Latinx Freedom Movement Archive and Exhibition Project alongside historian Felipe Hinojosa. She was a longtime supporter of the imprisoned activist and journalist Mumia Abu-Jamal. Over the years, Fernandez appeared on Democracy Now! Many times. She joined us in 2015 to look back at the legacy of the Young Lords.
What we see is that the movements of the 1960s, what is known as the New Left and the Black Power movement, transformed the relationship between people of color and white people, challenged U.S. foreign policy, but also transformed our understanding of gender and sexuality. And those were the issues that the Young Lords were concerned with.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.
Thanks, Amy. Can't hear it.
to still have a diplomatic solution to end the war in Iran. He says that Iran wants to make a deal. Is he right?
Well, I hope so. I mean, he's got basically three options. One, to indeed succeed in making a deal. Two, to continue the blockade. Three, to take military action. Anything that will produce the end of Iran's nuclear program is what we want. That's
you should
our
go,
goal. We talked about.
Hey, can we settle this shit if I kill
Trump
Bibi?
at the White House, did you try to persuade him to resume attacks on
Let's see
Iran?
what they
Actually
say.
not. That's the caricature, the cartoon picture. That is not true. We actually analyzed all three possibilities, and I thought we did it in an open way between friends and allies, and it's his decision. It's his decision. I think the important thing is we have a common goal, and the common goal is to make sure that this regime that chants death to America, that has murdered and maimed over 40,000 of its own citizens.
I'm not American.
That is shooting at
your bullshit doesn't work on me.
And that has wreaked havoc on the international
You have
economy.
literally been murdering people and bombing every fucking country around you for 3 years.
Solution is unlikely.
Literally become a good
Why
Nazi.
do you think that you all have such different assessments of
barrels.
the outcome here?
Well, I don't know if it's unlikely, but I'm skeptical about Iran's mode of operandus. I mean, the method of operating. They always lie. They always cheat.
You don't,
and they
though.
always play for time.
Every fascist accusation
could that
is a projection.
With sufficient pressure, diplomatic, economic pressure, could that change? Give it a try.
Is your goal still regime change?
My goal is to make sure that Iran, with this regime, doesn't have nuclear weapons. And that's something that President Trump and I both agree on, because it would be a different world. They're different from other countries, other societies. They have no compunction in murdering their own. You've seen that. They have no compunction in pursuing the death of this great
Israeli
country
shot
or the elimination
people on
of my country.
October 7th.
That's what they do.
Yeah.
If Iran does strike Israel, how will you
Pretty
respond?
cool.
I think they'll make a terrible
Hey,
mistake.
don't you guys have a thing
and
called the
will
Hannibal
respond
Directive?
Very, very
It's
forceful.
literally
Earlier
government
this month,
mandated
President
killing
Trump
your own
said,
people.
in an interview with a reporter, that in the relationship with you, you know who the boss is, meaning that it's him. He's the one calling the shots. Do you see it that way?
Well, in America, often they say that Trump does everything I say, and in Israel they often say that I do everything he says. And sometimes
The Hannibal Directive
these
is a
things,
controversial
are
Israeli
expressed in the
military
public,
procedure aimed
the
at
public
preventing the
discussion
capture of soldiers by
anyone,
killing enemy
including the
forces
president.
by
But the truth
maximum
is,
force,
we're partners.
even at the
We're
risk of
allies.
harming or
He's
killing
a senior
the
partner.
captive.
It's the United States of America. Let's not forget. And I'm.
But
the
they
Jewish
don't-
partner,
they
but
care.
I'm the Prime Minister of Israel, and when I have to stand up for the interests of my country and the security of my country, I do so. But I always do so with a deep appreciation of the role that the United States under President Trump has played in joining forces with us against our common enemy that wants to destroy us both.
The New York Times reports that before the war began, that you told President Trump that Iran's ballistic missile program could be destroyed in just a few weeks, that it could be done without the Strait of Hormuz being shut down, and that there could be regime change. Now here we are, more than 5 months into this war. They still have the missiles. The regime is still intact. And essentially, the Strait of Hormuz is shut down. Why would you say that your early assessment was so off?
That wasn't my early assessment, and that's an incorrect statement of what I said. I thought that we have to act to make sure that Iran doesn't get nuclear weapons, because if we don't, it's like having a cancer, and if you don't take it out, you're going to die. We're discussing how to make sure that it doesn't come back, it doesn't metastasize. That's the first thing. As far as the regime, I said we could create the conditions to make this regime a lot weaker, but it's up to the people of Iran in the end to take their own destiny in their own hands. I think Iran is weaker than ever before. I think Israel is stronger than ever before, but I can't tell you that the regime.
Crazy how Hitler was reincarnated as a Jewish guy.
I think after such a chasm between the people and the regime, after this mass murder, I think this regime will eventually fall.
Did you anticipate that Iran would use the Strait of Hormuz in the way that it is to essentially choke off much of the world's oil supply?
You know, I thought they could do it, but I thought they'd also have to consider what would be the consequences if they do it, and nobody could predict that with accuracy. After this war is over, I don't think the straits are going to be that powerful a leverage, because people will move.
It's over for the straits. You heard it here
out
first.
Of the straits
coming right from BB himself.
From there to Israel and the Mediterranean, we can unblock this choke point, and we will.
How do you respond, though, to your critics who say that you intentionally misled President Trump to get the U.S. involved in this war?
No, I didn't mislead anything. And the president didn't need to have, nobody tells President Trump what to do. And when I met him before the second term, before he was already elected, but he wasn't yet, he didn't yet take office. And I went to see him in Mar-a-Lago. And the first thing he said to me, I have to make sure that Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons.
I don't believe a single fucking word you say.
Tell him that. He told me that because he understands the great peril that America will be thrust into if that doesn't happen. So when we talked about the fact that after Midnight Hammer, after the first attack that we had, that Khamenei, the dictator of Iran, was intending to, not to stop the nuclear program, but to refurbish it and to put it underground in a place where it's, you can't reach it. We both understood that we had to take action.
You recently said that the U.S.-Israel relationship is like a wall of granite, and there are just some people who are looking to find cracks in it. But as you know, American support for Israel is plummeting. According to a recent poll, 32% of Americans look at your government favorably. That's a 15-point drop in just the last 4 years. When you think of it like that, do you think that Israel has a messaging problem, an image problem, or a policy problem?
Maybe it's the genocide problem.
I think there's been a change because of the proliferation of social media and the fact that sovereign countries have manipulated with bot farms and other things. And we can see
every fascist accusation
relationship
is a projection.
The proliferation of the social media and the decline in support for Israel. Now, I'm not telling you that the war in Gaza and the way that it was misrepresented here and the lies that
misrepresented, he says,
that didn't influence this. It did, unfortunately.
Oh, cool. The Heritage Foundation has called their attempts to silence Palestinian protest Project Esther in a way to obfuscate from the Israeli information warfare operation called the Esther Project. That's fucking great. The Esler Project is an Israeli social media propaganda campaign aimed at swaying American public opinion in the face of the ongoing genocide in Gaza. According to the first contract signed on behalf of the Israeli government's foreign ministry and advertising agency LAPAM, a cohort of 14 to 18 social media influencers were paid to post content in favor of Israel 25 to 30 times per month from July 2025 through to November 2025. Please shut the fuck up. You are the one who was literally doing the propaganda social media campaign. You slimy fuck. God, I fucking hate this cunt.
But I am saying that there is those who hate Israel hate America, and those who hate America hate Israel. And I think that it's a larger issue that is being, a larger battle that is being waged here for the soul, the heart and soul of young Americans. I think it's a broader thing. Does it concern me? Yes. Yes, it does. And I want bipartisan support for Israel because I think that's a fundament of our national security.
But doesn't it go
Fuck
beyond social media?
Israel.
Because you have genocide scholars, you have humanitarian groups in the United Nations who have all said that Israel has committed war crimes. So would you say that you bear
Genocide.
any responsibility?
Not for war crimes. I think that's hogwash. I mean, they say genocide, right? Okay. Well, first of all, who says genocide?
Genocide scholars.
The prosecutor.
A lot of
The
people.
International Criminal Court.
Half the world.
She
who
just
came
said
up-
Most
genocide
scholars?
scholars.
Yeah, but
genocide.
that doesn't matter because
is the
I'm about to
attempt
assassinate the
to wipe
credibility
out
of those people because he's a fucking fascist. That's all they ever fucking do. Their entire purpose is assassinating the credibility of people who talk against them. And if they can't do that, they murder them. You know, kind of like the children that take sniper bullets in Gaza from the IDF. But nah, no war crimes. Not at all.
Who came up with this? Genocide is the attempt to wipe out a people. The actual attempt and plan to wipe out a people, and the actual action that you do. In Gaza,
No, it
they
isn't.
accuse us of genocide. We sent millions of text messages and millions of phone calls and millions of leaflets telling
Okay,
Palestinians-
got it. So if the Nazis said, hey, watch out, we're going to kill you before the gas chambers, then they didn't
That's okay.
do genocide. Got it.
Okay.
Palestinians, civilians,
Pause.
get out of harm's way.
Okay. Your little door knocker bombs are not enough notice when you follow it up 60 seconds later with an actual fucking bomb. Alright? Here's the UN Genocide Convention from 1951. It was
They
ratified in
sent text
48.
messages after they shut internet off.
Unfucking real. Like, 1951, this document is noted. Article 2. The wording has been unchanged since this document was written. In the present convention, genocide
I love
means
this
any...
framing he has where he's talking about how they warned them before they bombed them, so he's framing the victims as intentionally wanting to die.
Well, they should have just moved. They shouldn't have been standing there, you see. You know, she shouldn't have been wearing a dress. Genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group as such. Any of these: killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. You can see that in Israeli cutting the grass policies, which constantly go into Gaza to eliminate 18-year-olds because of the potential that they could be fighting against Israel at some point. It is literally collective punishment apartheid and genocide. D. Imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, like bombing every hospital in the area. And E. Forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. I don't think that one Israel has done. Unless other people have proof of this, I don't believe that Israel has been kidnapping Palestinian children and taking them into Israeli families to make them Israeli. I don't think that's happening. I think it's a bit more Nazi-esque, where it's a bit more about elimination. But Israel satisfies 4, at least 3. Let's say at least 3 of the 5 categories of genocide that has not changed in text for 70 years. As long as Israel has existed, actually. They were doing that? Interesting.
Yeah, I believe specifically, like, there was a whole thing where they sterilized. Now, I do want to be accurate in the framing. Though the case that I heard about, it was the Ethiopian Jews that were being sterilized, but it was not a permanent sterilization. It was like, it was like a thing that is like lasts 7 years or something like that.
Oh, like a birth control measure or something.
Yeah, like, but it wasn't without their knowledge.
Interesting, okay.
From what I recall, that's what the story was.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
I just want to be fair with how I frame it.
Sure. It's fair.
So that we can take out the Hamas terrorists who are embedded in your schools, your hospitals, your communities. Hamas stopped the civilians from leaving at gunpoint.
Hamas is an Israeli-installed Islamist organization that was there to disrupt Palestinian secular nationalism.
We had this genocidal intent. We obviously didn't. It's the exact opposite. The genocidal intent was Hamas. They wanted those civilians killed so they can go on TV or go to the corrupt International Criminal Court and accuse us of war crimes. But that's not us. We value every civilian life. Every civilian life lost is a tragedy. And we'll do, so far, we've incurred a lot fewer civilians.
Okay. The Depo-Provera shot and Jewish people centered the allegation and controversies that Ethiopian Jewish immigrant women were given long-acting contraceptive injections in transit camps and in Israel without their full knowledge or informed consent. So it was without their consent, without their knowledge. Here is a Guardian article about it. Says Israel's health ministry is investigating claims that Ethiopian women are being injected with a controversial contraceptive without their knowledge or consent. Thousands of Ethiopian women are said to be receiving shots of Depo-Provera every 3 months in Israeli clinics. The contraceptive stops menstruation and has been linked to fertility problems and osteoporosis. Yaakov Litzman, Israel's deputy health minister, who has previously denied the practice, will lead the inquiry. A spokesman announced on Wednesday the phenomenon was uncovered when social workers noticed the birth rate among Ethiopian immigrants halving in a decade.
Yeah.
An Israeli document. This is literally genocide.
I specifically remember this. Like, specifically, it was not telling them what was going on.
This is literally genocide.
But I remember, like, hearing it framed as sterilization at first, and then, like, it was like somebody was arguing, like a Zionist was arguing. And they were like, it wasn't sterilization, it was temporary or something. Like, yeah, that makes it better. Or slightly, I guess.
It revealed that women were started on a course of contraceptive jabs while still in transit camps in Ethiopia, some without being told they were being given birth control and having no idea of the side effects. When they eventually arrived in Israel, doctors continued the treatment.
No, I didn't say they gave consent. I said that the thing that I heard is that it was temporary.
I think you did say that you weren't sure whether it was, maybe.
No. I knew they didn't consent to it. Maybe I misspoke, but...
Yeah, I think you did, because I vaguely remember you saying that. I think you just misspoke. Without being told they were given birth control, and many having no idea of the side effects. When they eventually arrived in Israel, doctors continued the treatment unquestioningly, but the critical question remains unanswered as to who instigated the policy, with neither Israel nor Ethiopia willing to claim responsibility.
Yeah. How many years ago was this article? Because I remember, like...
It's 13 years old.
Yeah, because I remember, like, a long time ago arguing with Zionists and using this as a example of why they're Nazis at the time.
Mm. Yeah, because I think you got up. You might have misspoke as you got up.
I didn't downplay everything. Fuck off. I literally just said that it was not a permanent sterilization from what I remember. That's all I said.
Give me a second. Before I started reading. Hold on. You just said from what you recall. Almost got it. You did say it wasn't without their knowledge.
It was?
No, you said it wasn't without their knowledge.
Oh.
Before getting up, so you did misspeak.
It
But
was.
Yeah, so just to correct.
It was without their knowledge.
100% it was without their knowledge. So it says another pregnant with her 5th child when she arrived in transit camp where she would live for 7 years. That might be where you got the 7 years from. The woman is
Yeah,
in
I
her
just
30s.
I remember it's something like that. Like this is a while ago because I remember arguing so much like with Zionists at the time, and this was one of the things. Like this article was one of the things that I would send to them.
You were correct. Ribbon officials had gathered together all new mothers in the camp and told them they would be given Depo Provera, as it would be too difficult for them to give birth in Israel. Fuck, Jesus Christ. No, we didn't want to take it. We refused. We didn't want it, the unnamed woman recalls in the film. She agreed for the injections only because she was told her immigration to Israel would be blocked and she received no further health care in the camps if she refused. Great, so they basically blackmailed them into sterilization. That's cool. Yeah, this is a genocide policy. This is... Wow. More than
That's
50,000...
what I would tell Zionists at the time.
No, this is literally a genocidal policy. As it says in the text. Article 2, Section D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. Zionists are anti-Semitic. I'll say it until I fucking die. Yet Rubin claims to have discovered a letter from the health ministry to a clinic in Ethiopia in 2000, thanking doctors there for a large number of women they treated with Depo-Provera. Why are only Ethiopian women given Depo-Provera in Israel It's supposed to be a last resort contraceptive. Israeli health authorities claim that injections are a cultural preference, but in our culture, to have lots of children is to be rich. Great. So, side effects of Depo-Provera. Let's see. Type of birth control comes in an injectable shot. Your healthcare provider injects it into your arm or butt.
I don't need to be corrected. I said that I misspoke. I already said that I argued with Zionists over this years ago.
There's a version you can inject at home on your own. Great. Protects against pregnancy. How does it work? Where can I get it? How is it? Where are the side effects? Bloating, bone density loss, depression, headaches and dizziness, irregular or no periods, nervousness or weight gain. Changes in the cycle is the most common side effect. After a year of use, about 55% of users stop getting a period altogether.
I corrected myself and said that I didn't say that it was consensual, and if I did, I misspoke. So it's a pretty easy thing to understand.
Osteoporosis. So you said cancer? Not directly tied to cancer, long-term use has been linked to an increased risk of meningiomas, which is a typically benign brain tumor. Wow.
Well, it's benign.
That's fine then. Pfizer faces possible class action after contraceptive linked to brain tumors. 31 when doctors discovered by accident she had a 15 millimeter brain tumor. The tumor showed up unexpectedly in a scan ordered for a face lesion and was resting on a part of her brain responsible for personality. It was meningioma, a type of slow-growing tumor that would need
resting
to be
on her
monitored.
face? Responsible?
No, it was brain, part of her brain responsible for personality.
Oh, okay.
33...
I was about to be like, wait, did it say face or brain there?
The 33-year-old is one of many women globally questioning whether their use of the popular contraceptive Depo-Provera contributed to their development of the brain tumor. Depo-Provera also called Depo-Relovera, is a high-dose injection of synthetic progesterone called, I'm not going to try that, which is given to women every 3 months to prevent pregnancy. In March, the British Medical Journal published a major study which found women who used this for more than a year had a 5 to 6-fold increase of developing a meningioma compared to women who didn't use it. Meningiomas are not malignant, but they can grow in problematic parts of the brain and need removal. She took the contraceptive for more than a decade to help stop heavy periods. No one said you could potentially get a brain tumor, she said. I need to get an MRI every 2 years for the rest of my life. $500 each time. Great. So they're suing Pfizer over it. Neat. And this is what they were giving Ethiopian Jews as they came into Israel. Awesome. Against their knowledge. What a cool country. But we should doubt that they're committing genocide and there's no intent to wipe anybody out with Gaza, right? Even though, that, you know, like Germany had in Africa, there were signs.
This was happening so long ago that like I had almost forgotten about it until just now. But it used to be one of the main things I would tell Zionists.
Well, I'm going to use this one because this is fucking revolting. People need to know about this. I didn't fucking know about this.
I would like
That's
argue
gross.
when they would make arguments about how they're not Nazis, and then I would be like, okay, so why do you fucking discriminate specifically against black Jews? And then like start talking about these shots and stuff. And then there's been like so many Gaza bombings since then that I just I stopped talking about it.
Yeah, I mean it's like with Nazi Germany where people talk about how they idolized America, but don't talk about how they literally did a trial run in Africa.
Yeah.
It's like there's so many
the
factors.
thing that really bothers me is when they say that Manifest Destiny is the reason. Like they try to pin the Holocaust on America instead of on the Nazis. Like fucking
like, it's
destructive
apologetics.
ideology couldn't have existed without America.
It's revolting. Like you might as well just argue for Nazism.
Yeah, I really don't like that type of argument.
Fucking sets me off. Alright, play.
To combatants lost than just about in any urban warfare in modern times.
If you feel that what's happening in Gaza is being misrepresented, why not allow journalists in, independent of Israeli forces?
Yeah, we do, I think, sometimes. But the problem there is it's a war zone. Still, rockets are flying, mines are exploding. There are terror tunnels out of which terrorists emerge. And what do you do when journalists
I remember the
get killed?
game that we're playing.
But I think
we're like
you know,
40
you can see
turns
what's
back
happening.
from where we
don't hide
stopped.
it. I mean, anybody can use a Google map.
Yeah,
I
find
remember
exactly
because I started
what is
fighting
happening.
Persia.
This war,
it must have crashed or something.
this war was prompted by the worst assault
Which is probably why I didn't feel like going back to it.
Jews since the Holocaust, with you know the raping and beheading of women and the burning of babies and the slaughter of our men and the taking of hundreds of hostages, men, women, and children by these killers, who proceeded also to cause casualties among Palestinian civilians. They don't care about Palestinian civilians. You know, they have this whole tunnel network underneath Gaza. They wouldn't let the civilians go in there. So that's what we're fighting. And where's the world? We're fighting these horrible, massacring terrorists.
That you installed.
And I find in New York that the mayor of New York, his family, they don't condemn them. I understand that members of his family actually celebrated the October 7th massacre. What? Against this democracy, Israel, that is being vilified, lied about.
Gotta find that clip of the one guy saying that Jeffrey Epstein is better than Hassan.
You know, Iran wants to destroy you. We're a model democracy fighting against the barbarians.
Model democracy,
And in New
huh?
York City, the mayor of New York
You don't deserve to live!
And a day later,
I'm gonna ruin another
a Jew
suit.
is stabbed, coming out of a synagogue. I don't think that's accidental. We should remember who are the good guys and who are the bad guys. We're fighting with you, shoulder to shoulder, with
Good guys
brave
and bad
American
guys.
soldiers to prevent
We're the
barbarism
good
from-
guys. You're the
The
bad
Vice
guys.
President
I
J.D.
already
Vance
drew myself
recently
as
told
the
Joe
Chad.
Rogan that Israel is attempting to undermine the end to the war in Iran. And I want to quote him. He said that people in your system are manipulating and trying to change American public
Jeffrey
opinion to
Epstein
keep
is
the war
better than
going
Hassan.
on.
Can I
How do you
say
respond
people
to
that?
Well, we're not actually. And I had a very good conversation
Until
with
Hassan
the
is
Vice President
diddling kids
this morning.
and running
And I
a
think,
fucking
I think we straightened
rape
that out.
resort.
Hey,
Because we're not. That's
there's
not our
potential.
policy. Individuals in our system can have their opinions,
He could
but
still become a cult
government
leader.
policy is dictated by me, and that's not our policy.
You know, there's every
Palestinians
opportunity.
in the
Speaking
West
about
Bank-
cult leaders, the Jared Leto accusations and stuff.
What are you talking about?
You didn't see that?
No? What happened?
Oh, what? So like, I think it was 11 women with credible accusations. I think, but I was thinking to myself, I was like, wasn't this already a thing? And turns out, yes, it was. Okay, so like these women had already come forward. I want to say a year ago.
Okay.
And the new press is just like a bigger expose on those women's stories. But like people are like treating it like it's a new revelation. And like I don't know who was saying it. It might have been like Ethan in the background saying that like Jared Leto just had 3 box office bombs and now they're pushing for this.
Interesting.
Like, because before there was already like an article, it just didn't have as in-depth reporting on the victims and stuff. And like he still had 3 movies come out the next year, you know? And like, so like they were saying like if he wasn't like shown to be somebody who doesn't make these corporations money, like it probably wouldn't have like revitalized and came out as an article, and that like the whole reason why he was able to continue and the accusations really didn't like hold him back is because he was still seen as somebody who could make people money.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I personally canceled Jared Leto a long time ago. Like the only thing that he's in Requiem for a Dream, right? That's him.
I think
like
so.
that's the only movie I can think of where like I think he's actually, and he's not even good in that. It's just a good movie. Like it's more of like Aronofsky, who himself is a fucking weird guy.
Many of them say that they're at a breaking point because of increased violence. As you know, a number of Palestinian Americans have died in some of those clashes. Why can't your government prevent that from happening?
I think we have. I mean, look, there have been about 1,000 terrorist attempts from Palestinians in the territories against our civilians, men, women, children, families that drive along the roads, and they're machine gunned by these terrorists. So we've been able to prevent a lot of that. Sometimes they're hot-headed, basically juvenile delinquents, about 150 in number, that try to, I don't call it take the law into their own hands.
I'm sorry for laughing
I
and
think
startling you,
vigilantism
Vichy.
is against the law, and we're taking action against them. But put it in proportion, the vast majority of the settler community, like 99.9%, are law-abiding citizens, and we have to live in peace side by side.
Hang on. 95% of the settler community are law-abiding citizens. Bro, it's literally against your law for them to be doing what they're doing. This is like the argument of like, when they're like, oh, there are the criminals when they cross the border, except true. Leto blocked me on Twitter.
That's funny as.
Good. He's such a creep. Who else was the other guy who was Franco?
James Franco? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that.
And like another thing that plays in the background a lot is like Cinnamon Toast Ken, and they watch a lot of To Catch a Predator stuff.
Oh,
and he was
interesting.
pointing out that like never once do any of the Predators on To Catch a Predator say, I could have ruined somebody's life. It's always, oh, I'm just so lonely, poor me. Like,
That
they
is
say
an
the same thing
observation.
every time. They never actually care about that they could be ruining somebody's life. Not once. And I think that really is like a true predator mentality, is when you don't care about victims and are just thinking about yourself.
Yeah.
Speaking about predators, there's I don't know if you know who EDP is. The cupcake guy.
Yes, I am aware of that.
So they have a documentary coming out on him. And they agreed to, like, he agreed to the documentary, and the guy in the trailer shows a lawyer, and he's like, if I was EDP's lawyer, I'd tell him to stop doing this documentary. And he's like got him behind bars in like the orange jail suit and stuff. And I don't know, like I assume EDP's doing it because he thinks it's gonna get him clout or something.
Yeah,
but
probably.
The guy who's doing it already said the proceeds are all going to like some charity that helps victims. Excuse you.
Confront terror where we can, and I will certainly not tolerate vigilantism on our side. I don't.
Do you support a Palestinian state?
No, I'll tell you why not. Because we had one. It's called Gaza. And in fact, it was a de facto Palestinian state. And what was it used for? To launch this horrible massacre against us. Hamas says openly that it's out to destroy every Jew, kill every Jew in the world, kill every Jew in Israel. The Palestinian Authority on the other side, supposedly their rivals, said that they're out for the dissolution of Israel. It would be a state that would conduct war against us, which will bring about the demise of the Jewish state. So you want peace with the Palestinians, but not at the expense of our survival. Nobody wants to commit national suicide.
So last question for you. Our show recently did a story about a father of 8 living in Gaza. He has a 3-year-old daughter who he said barely can get food, has no education, there's no future. He described their family as being buried alive in the Gaza Strip. And so really a two-parter. What is your plan for the Palestinian people? And when you look at these images of Gaza, is there anything you would have done differently?
Well, you can always do things differently, but I think the most important thing is you have to make sure that you have to get rid of Hamas.
Man.
I mean, Hamas is a terrorist organization that if you have Palestinians who want to live in peace with Israel, they take them to the town square and they put a bullet in the back of their head. That's what they do. It's a killer organization. You have Palestinians in Gaza who are now fighting Hamas because they want a different life. They want a life of freedom. They have to toe the line with Hamas, succumb to their horrible cruelties and their violence, and certainly not be allowed to go somewhere else.
One of the few movies with
I think
overlapping dialogue.
Choice, and I think they should have freedom of terror. And for that, Hamas has to be disarmed and Gaza has to be demilitarized. That's our plan. Disarm, demilitarize Gaza, and de-radicalize it. That's what is needed to happen in Gaza to give them a new life and to give a chance for peace.
Prime Minister, thank you so much for the time. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Boo.
Oh, hey guys, how you doing?
Oh, hey guys, how you doing?
Oh, guys, it's Monday. Hope you had a great weekend, man. I had a great weekend. I did some of this. And how did I do that?
With the bubble wand.
The spiritual leader of the Democratic Party, far-left extremist Hassan Piker is
Oh,
now
right. Sorry, man. I got to correct you. It's
Hassan Parker.
Right, the spiritual leader of the Democratic Party, far-left extremist Hassan Piker is now touting an anti-Israel litmus test for any Democrat with 2028 presidential aspirations. Take a look at these really repulsive and disgusting remarks.
Oh, my God.
Will you endorse the 2028 candidate? Surely shouldn't you get on board with whoever the main candidate is?
Luckily, I don't think I will have to make that calculation at all, because there is 0% chance that whoever the elected Democrat is that wins the primary will be pro-Israel in any way, shape, or form. You'll see.
Oh, how is he free?
Reaction, the host of Life, Liberty.
Whoa, hold on a second with that hair and face. I was trying to say
disgusting.
Hold on, I'm actually gonna dial 911 on that guy. What's the guy's name?
Hassan Parker.
I'm gonna dial 911 on him.
Thank you for calling 311. We're here to help. For emergencies, please call 911.
Oh, I dialed the wrong number.
With Reaction, the host of Life, Liberty, and Levin, and of course his own nationalist.
That's the name of that little guy's show. Life, Liberty, and my last name. Pretty good, man.
This lady had spawned out of nowhere.
course, he's here on the Fox News channel. I call him the Great One, Mark Levin.
Why do you call him that?
This is a guy that blamed America.
You know, this guy is, well, wrong.
Get his mic
TV.
right.
I gotta watch it. He's a real lowlife.
Whoa.
You know, it's a funny thing. This guy Puker, he doesn't.
Puker. Okay, we did get a very beautiful compound drop out of this. Here we go.
They're trying so hard to emulate Trump.
Hassan Puker.
Now, if that's not anti-Semitic bigotry institutionalized in a party, I don't know what is.
That's why we call him
Hassan Puker. Hassan Puker. You know, this guy is.
Okay, man. I did see this clip over the weekend, and this guy, people are always talking about this guy. It's hard to make fun of or like, oh, I'm gonna make some points about what this guy's saying. It's sort of like a baby pooping his pants, just absolutely choking, just absolutely to the brimming his diapers in a restaurant or something. You know, and you're like, I'm gonna go have a word with that baby. I'm gonna debate the merits of what that baby done in this restaurant. It's pretty much that. It's also funny that this guy's like only real audience is cable news viewers, which skews like way older. On YouTube, this has less views than I get. Let's look at the comments. This is on Fox News' own channel. Let's see some of the beautiful support that they're getting on the beautiful channel. The beautiful channel of
Hassan Puker.
I think at this point, everyone knows who the real lowlifes are. Hey, wait, are you talking about
Hassan Puker?
Hassan is 2 weeks away from developing a nuclear weapon. That's very funny. Why you give him so much priority if he's so low?
Hassan Parker. Hassan Puker.
I don't like the attitude. I don't like the vibe on this comment. Rent-free, bro. Rent-free. I guess this is how you have to say it. Rent-free, bro. Rent-free. More like that. Fox News wants Americans to pass a loyalty test to Israel before they are allowed to exercise free speech. Is this man crying? What are those little visual representations there? Whoa! Whoa! Those are crying laughings. Oh man, give that weird little creep a break. He's doing this.
And this
so annoying having to watch
any of it. He is obsessed with
this
Jews,
little naughty chinchilla.
He's obsessed with America.
While I'm trying to do work.
He hates us. He hates this country. He hates the citizens of this country. He hates the Israelis.
Well,
he
most
hates
people.
Jews.
Whoa. Hold on there, Master Shake. Hold on a second there.
Hassan Puker.
Food service? Are you kidding me? This is third world, and I'm from the first. I'm number one, baby.
Hassan Parker.
You got to be more clear. This guy's not being clear enough. By us, he hates us. You mean weird little perverts on Fox News who are going like this? Many do. Many do. Not just
Hassan Puker.
But many, I would say probably most.
I'm really troubled by the fact that we have people coming into this country, or coming back to this country, that hate it so much, and spew their poison left and right. I don't know how this guy gets a platform.
Yeah, not you, though.
I don't know how anybody pays to give him a platform.
How he's not in jail.
Intelligent. He's just a thug. He's just another Jew hater. And you can find them anywhere. You can find them on the street. You
Serious
can find them
stuff.
Anywhere. So this guy gets paid a fortune because he's a
Hassan
Jew
Puker.
hater.
Bro's jealous Hassan gets paid more than him.
Yeah, so people are always making fun of this guy. He literally does do this. He do this right here. Oh, man, you're right in his face with that. He's doing a lot of bep, bep, bep. I do like Life, Liberty, and My Name is the name of my show. Life, Liberty, and the Pursuit of...
Hassan Puker.
It's obviously very kooky. He got 25,000 views on this, and it gets 1 million views on cable TV, allegedly. So it's older people watching this, and it's like, if he was like, all right, us older people, us...
adult baby.
You know, we still kind of support Israel and all this stuff. That would be one thing, but what this guy seems to say all the time is like, people are... Let me see if I can do his voice.
People are coming in. People are coming in. People are coming in from other places.
Is this a game to you? It's not, please. Because it is to me.
People are coming in from other terrible countries, and they're saying this stuff. It's sick. Should be illegal. He is kind of saying that. This guy shouldn't even be allowed to talk on Twitch or whatever the hell he does. This guy.
Hassan Puker.
That's funny. That's kind of like out the window now. All the like free speech.
Hilarious.
Stuff. How can this guy even be allowed to?
Have you not
stuff?
seen this one?
But
it's like I think it's the Zuccotti Manicotti episode. He gets the hand puppet. Have you not seen that one? It's a newer one.
Was it actually Aqua Teen Hunger Force or like Aqua Teen? Because they the later seasons they renamed the show for like every season.
Did they? I couldn't
Yeah.
tell you. My mate has them on his Raspberry Pi.
Did it open with Dr. Wired?
It was a weird drawing opening. They changed the opening every time. Hold on,
So,
I'll show you.
It was a later season.
Fucking funny episode.
Like I'm not up to date on Always Sunny either, you know?
Mm.
Get this shit out of here. I don't want this little menu open. Fuck off. Oh my fucking god. Which button is this one open from?
Season 9. 9th episode of season 9.
Let me see if I've seen anything in that season. Did everyone see my Project Hail Mary review?
On Twitter?
Yeah, I don't... Totem Pole? Maybe I've seen.
Mm.
This came out... When would Season 9 be out? 2012. Okay. So, that explains why I haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would be, you know, this would be like right when I was in college and shit.
Mm.
I'm looking to see like what's the last season where I remember everything from.
I'm kind of curious.
What?
Which one? Because I've never watched the show until recently. My friend has introduced me to a lot of very interesting TV shows. He downloaded the Frank Green Show. That's an interesting show. It's an interesting dude.
Season 4, I recognize most of the episodes, and then Season 5, not so much.
Interesting. Because my mate always tells me about the guy who plays Frylock is always begging for money because he always signs shit deals. He gets
so
a flat payment.
2007.
Mm. Apparently,
yeah, so
he always signs for
there's
a flat
actually
payment.
a gap. So the movie came out instead of like season 4 came out, then the movie. So it's 2006 for season 4, 2007 for the movie, and then 2008 for the next season. So like I think like after the movie, I didn't really watch the show again because there was like a 2-year gap or something. But like I used to fucking like if it was on Adult Swim, I should have seen it because like I would watch Adult Swim going to bed. Like even into high school, I remember like waking up and like a really annoying show had a song that I could not fucking stand. And it was like
that was one thing I never really watched. Was
Johnny
Adult Swim.
Test was the show I think in the morning that would play that I couldn't stand the song for.
Yeah.
But like I remember Pokemon Black and White and Diamond and Pearl playing in the morning when I would be waking up for school because I'd fall asleep with the TV on.
Mm-hmm. Let's see when the show came out. 2010 to 2013. So that sounds about right. See, but that means you probably should have seen some of these.
Yeah,
episodes.
that's what I'm saying. Is it's like, what was I watching at night instead of Aqua Teen at the time?
Weird.
Because like I was falling.
I never watched Comedy Central. We never watched Comedy Central.
Well, it's
missed out on
Cartoon
all
Network
those
with
shows.
Adult Swim.
It was Cartoon Network, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I would watch. So for me, Comedy Central is channel 50, and Adult Swim would be channel 51. So sometimes I would flip between those two channels specifically.
You know what it was? We didn't have Foxtel after I was 14, which was 2006, something like that. We stopped paying for Foxtel, so I didn't get.
Oh, hang on.
Cartoon
We're
Network
talking
anymore.
about the movie in chat. I think Ryan Gosling should have got ganged by. So I was thinking the other way around. Ryan Gosling would top because The Rock clearly had a butthole. Because there was the whole scene where The Rock was putting its butthole in his face when he was trying to sleep. So I got the impression that it had a hole to fuck.
I mean, Rock
And I stopped doing movie polls because it was annoying to try and get people to vote in them.
Mm.
Maybe when we get more viewers again, I'll bring them back.
You got 6 at the moment.
Doing this thing now of like, oh, people are coming in from other countries and they're saying this stuff. It's people from other places, bad places, and they're bad people because they're from other places.
We have implemented
there's
a
a
vigorous new visa policy.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Wait,
because
before we
I
get
was
into this,
basically
man,
not
the charisma on
watching
this guy. Looks like there's a
TV when I left high school and went to uni, which was around 2013. So I didn't really watch any of this like late night stuff on Foxtel. Yeah, I don't think we had Foxtel for a while. Not, and like when I got to the age where I'd be allowed to watch those shows, we didn't have it. So, can rocks consent? They're non-sentient.
No, these are sentient rocks.
Then yes. What about the rock monster in Galaxy Quest? Did they get consent when they fucked the crew?
I really want to know what I was watching. Like, because I definitely was, like, what was I watching at night during my, like, sophomore, junior, and senior year of high school? Because I definitely remember waking up to, because I didn't have, like, internet on my phone back then.
No, they're porn channels.
No, I didn't have those either.
PBS.
Like, I don't know what because like I would fall I remember like in my like senior year specifically waking up to some of those shows in the morning, like the child cartoon shows, and being annoyed by some of the annoying theme songs. I want to say Johnny Test specifically was one of the songs that really annoyed me. Yeah, so it says Pokemon Diamond and Pearl was 2007 to 2011. I definitely woke up to that. Can you stop? Fucking annoying little rat. And then the other one was, I think, Yu-Gi-Oh! DX, which was like Yu-Gi-Oh! But they were racing. GX. And that was... Is this the one? Because this says 2004. That can't be it, right?
I think I know what happened. I think I was well and truly YouTube coded by that point.
Come here.
I was well and truly on my way to be YouTube and gaming coded. TV died.
Well, like, for me, because, like, it was hell going to school because of my ADHD medication. I could never get to sleep at night.
Yeah.
So I'd always be fucking exhausted
Mm.
in the morning and shit. Which led to more abuse from my dad.
Yeah.
Because I would make him late to work.
Because you wouldn't get up.
Yeah, because I was fucking exhausted. Because he'd be up till like 2 a.m. unable to sleep because of my fucking ADHD medication. Nobody cared to like think about this or like look at it or anything.
Yeah, it's always an oversight. Yeah, your impact, the side effects for you don't fucking matter. Yeah, parents rule your world.
What was the Yu-Gi-Oh where they were in race cars?
I could not tell you.
Five D's nuts. Yes. So that's 2008, and I specifically remember waking up to that in the morning as well. So where the fuck was I for Aqua Teen Hunger Force Season 5? I swear to fuck! You little rodent! Come here. Where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going?
Car about to hit him off camera.
We have implemented a vigorous new visa policy.
Okay, I saw somebody say Bleach. I fucking hated Bleach. Eric Andre. You know, when was that show? Because I don't remember seeing that as well on TV.
I never saw that either.
Season 1 was 2012, so that would be after. So, my question is, why don't I remember Season 5 of Aqua Teen Hunger Force? I bet I'm going to watch it and see if I actually remember it. Because I remember some of it, because like, I remember certain episodes from the later season, because I remember the vampire landlord and stuff.
No, you have
that
not.
will prevent foreign nationals from coming to the United States to foment hatred against our Jewish community.
Oh my God.
We are holding international organizations and nations accountable for rhetoric against Israel that resurfaces in the manifesto of monsters.
What does that mean, Marco?
Where in the Constitution does it say that the Secretary of State can override the First Amendment?
It does say that.
Protections of free speech. Is there a footnote that I missed
There's
somewhere?
no constitutional right to a student visa.
So, but is there
Student visa's
a
privilege.
constitutional right? Does it say somewhere that Marco Rubio gets to determine
It actually
whether
does.
which speech is appropriate and revoke student visas
It's in
based
there.
on what you think constitutes free speech?
There's a
You think
statute. There's a statute that says the Secretary of State gets to determine whether someone is a threat. We deny visas
Do
every
you
day
think
all
that
over
the
the world. and
INA? Do you think that the Immigration and Nationality Act trumps the Constitution of the United States, Mr. Secretary?
Well, Congress can always change the law if you want, but I'm telling you,
Mr.
in the meanwhile, I
Secretary,
have the
let
authority.
me
I
be
will
clear.
continue to revoke the visas of these people that come here to tear
You
this
said that,
country.
Mr. Is that
law?
Yeah, so kind of interesting, man. They're all kind of saying the same thing. You know, that Master Shake guy. The guy who do like that. I mean, that guy, you know, people always say sounds like Master Shake. That guy's almost. He's borderline meatwad, that guy.
It's a Merry Christmas. Which is a strip club. Merry Triple Xmas. You see what I'm saying?
Give me that sandwich! But they're all kind of doing this thing where they're like, people from other lands are coming in here, they're doing bad, wrong stuff.
They're saying bad, wrong stuff, man.
And that's what Meatwad is kind of repeating. Many call him Meat Toilets. He's kind of repeating this thing.
Man, these people come in from other places and it's meant to cause a problem.
When they don't support Israel, man. It's these people from these other places. What are those places called? I don't even remember.
Today, look at this, minus 16 points. That's
Oh my
an
God.
over 40
A sun
point
puker.
shift in just 1, 2, 3, 4 years' time away from Israel amongst young Republicans.
Minus 16.
With moderate liberal Republicans shifting away from Israel. I mean, this.
So, I'm looking at some of the stuff. This is just AI overview saying what was in 2008. And Robot Chicken, Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Metalocalypse, Venture Brothers, More Orals, and Squidbillies. I fucking hated Squidbillies. Hated Bleach. I remember a little bit of Code Geass. I don't think I watched Death Note on TV, but I might have. And then Standalone Complex is here, but I want to say that was probably just syndication and stuff. And then Shin-Chan I also fucking hated. So 2008 might have been just a really bad Adult Swim lineup that I didn't end up falling asleep to as much.
Maybe.
I remember a lot of Squidbilly episodes, though, even though I
know what
didn't
that
like
is.
it.
Never heard of that in my life.
It sucks dick.
I think
When
most
was
of the...
12 Ounce
Nah,
Mouse?
You know what it is? I was watching Nickelodeon. That's what I was doing. I was watching Nickelodeon when
12 Ounce
all
Mouse
of
was
this was happening. I was watching Kim
2005.
Possible and like what was that fucking show called? It was like a dragon show where the kid turns into a dragon. I fucking love that show. I'll have to find out what the name is because I can't fucking remember what it is. It's like American Dragon or some shit. And then they changed the animation style halfway through to make it look more Chinese because it was a Chinese dragon. And then people got mad because the dragon didn't have wings and still flew. And I'm like, you idiots. It's a very... And honestly, I think the animation in the second part is kind of interesting. But I haven't seen it for a while, so I can't really comment. But I remember that was like a thing that people were mad about. Still mad about. I'll encourage the Cowardly Dog, which I think might have been Cartoon Network.
Okay, so there's some of these shows from 2009 in Adult Swim. I don't even know what these are. Delocated, Titan Maximum, G.I. Joe, Resolute. This might just be AI overview being whack or something, but I don't remember anything on the Drinky Crow show except the pilot. So, I don't know. I think 2008 and 2009, I just might not have been watching Adult Swim at night as much.
Maybe just migrated to something else.
Yeah.
I was
and
also
then
watching a lot of SpongeBob.
2010, I was watching it again.
Is a sea change.
Calm
This
down.
is a sea change.
No,
Net
it's not.
favorability of Israel amongst non-liberal Democrats.
Down into the Sea of Galilee at minus 55 points.
That's a
calm
nearly
down. I don't
60
like
point
that.
switcheroo in
Getting
just
too into it.
4. Americans sympathize more with the Palestinians by an 11-point margin. That
right.
is
There's also
man.
a channel
makes fun
that
of this
we
little
had
wheat
called
right
Boomerang.
Here. You know, like he's just
which
like
was all Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah, we had Boomerang.
I think
It
that's how
was
most
a
people
premium
treat this,
channel where I
but
am.
it's still surprising.
Yeah,
the,
it
like,
was a part of the
level
package that
just
we had.
demented,
So I got to watch a lot of like wacky races,
insanity
and
of these kind of
like all the
dudes.
Hanna-Barbera
Because everything
stuff.
with this
So
guy is
that's
just like
also
blow
a
everything
lot of what I watch.
What do you think you're doing on my turf?
Blow everybody up. Who cares?
He at the same time he like oh my god. Oh, we need to protect people, and everything's a threat to the safety of people. Also, blow everyone up all the time. Like, there's just nothing going on in that shiny brain, but it's also like just outright.
That's the thing. Is just like for me,
easily.
like Scooby-Doo, the Jetsons, the Jetsons, right? That's what it was called.
Flintstones.
All those shows that ended up being on Boomerang. For me as a kid, they were regulars on Cartoon Network, and then later they got moved to Boomerang.
Ah, interesting. Cheeky cunts.
I really want to know what I was watching at night in 2008 and 2009. It must have been more Comedy Central stuff.
Disproven lies right in people's face. Like, oh, it's people from other countries coming in and they're talking about this crap. And then you go look at even cable news polls and stuff now, and it's like, oh, by people coming in from other countries and causing all these problems, you mean the people in this country, like the majority of them. That's kind of...
Okay.
That's a tough...
So... 2008, I was definitely watching Daily Show and Colbert Report every day for sure. So, and that was weeknights at 11 and 11:30 p.m. So if those happened the same time when Aqua Teen Hunger Force was happening on Adult Swim, that's why I missed it.
Makes sense.
Because Jon Stewart is like really why I'm a journalist, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Tough one. That's a tough one unless you're going like this. And that clip of that pollster from CNN, that's from 3 months ago. This is from, 2 days ago. Americans
but I
support
specifically
Netanyahu
remember
arrest
Jon Stewart in the Bush
by
years,
22-point margin survey. Nearly half of Americans believe U.S. should arrest the Israeli prime minister. So it's kind of an interesting one, man. Kind of a tough one. Oh, we're gonna, revoke the visas of these academics and all this crap. We're writing these papers, gonna kick their butts out of the country. And, the people who are saying this stuff are from other places. By the way, most people who were, born here, well, they agree with that. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one, but you're still on TV doing this. Going like this.
A sun puker.
Also, this little weirdo uploads so much content, and he's all over, the old school radio. I don't know how people listen to this. He does get a million viewers on cable TV. Who knows how much he gets
just so you don't whinge about it later. Because I want to say you took this city anyway from the Maori or something. I don't have a city on that coast, so I'm going to put a settler just south of that Maori city.
Which one?
It's going to be between two of your cities. Just so I can have a coast access on that side.
Maori, I'm looking for a home. I don't see the Maoris.
No, it's the city you took from them.
Oh.
I was about to kill it, and I think you took it.
Yeah, I think we
so
took the wrong ones. I was going to take
access.
Dakar.
Yeah, I'll...
Where are you putting it?
If you want, I'll trade you cities.
Can you do that?
Yeah.
No, this one's actually... This one's going to become pretty important.
Yeah, it's already a 9 pop, so...
Yeah. Put one wherever you want. Are you going to put it down on the coast near this river?
I'm putting it there. It can only go next to these Himalayan mountains. Those are the only 2 tiles available.
Okay, don't put it there.
That's the only place I can.
No, look on the other side. The
I
other
just
side
told you
near the
I need the
volcano.
coast.
You could put it on the very coast.
No, the only coastline I have in that area are those 2 tiles.
You specifically want access there.
Yeah, because I'm gonna need to send ships and stuff like that, so I'll need a naval guard there. Because there's so much ocean on our eastern side there. Like, there's such a vast sea on that side.
Well, just don't worry. I can cover the southern
Yeah.
part.
Well, I still need ship access specifically, but like this little reef that we have here with this volcano, I don't need any of this land.
Okay. Because I was going to put a city right on the edge of the coast. Right on that rock wall.
Yeah, so, well, see, like, Babylon already is a great coastal city, and so is this Maori city you have.
Yeah. Unless, no, there's no spot down the bottom. I was going to say maybe you could go right down the bottom, but there's no space there. Yeah, fuck it.
I already sent the settlers, so...
Yeah, that's fine. But I want... I'll just buy them. Hold on. I just want that one. That's all. So anything left of the tile that I just
The radio?
bought?
But good lord, how do people deal with this guy's just
maybe
absolute...
one
I mean, it's worse
tile
than this noise right
next
here
to
that
the
I'm
river.
about to play right here. I mean, it's basically like getting one of these right in the
That'll
ear.
work.
Listen to him doing this ad read. Check this ad read out.
You know, folks, Americans
Do a
rely on
tunnel
credit
build
cards for secure
through the
payments and seamless transactions.
No, they
but
do not. That's a
consumers
lie.
stand to lose. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose
Guard
when
your
politicians choose. Visit guardyourcard.com to learn more. That's guard.
Jeez, hey.
Guard your card. I said visit guard your...
If you're a 70-year-old listening to this, how do you not kick your radio out the window?
Visit guard your card.
Visit guard your... Guy sounds like he's just having a panic attack that never ends. They should do like a study on the nervous system of like the 75-plus-year-olds who listen to this guy. We found that over 88% of this guy's viewers, they're first of all, their eardrums are totally just destroyed, just absolutely blown out because this guard your card because of that in their ears. But we also found out that consistent listening to this weird little pervert, it's the same as living next to like 14 data centers and like a toxic waste dump. He's putting his energy, which seems to be just a total sustained nervous breakdown, into these poor elderly memes and peepaws. It's absolutely destroying their brains, man.
Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Visit guardyourcard.com to learn more. That's guardyourcard.com, paid for by the Electronic Payments Code.
Wait a second. I cannot get over this name, Life, Liberty, and Levin. Welcome to my show and the Rocket's red mark.
Oh, sorry.
Hello, America. I'm Mark Levin, and this
How
is
you
Life,
doing?
Liberty, and Levin Saturday. It's
I
good
know,
to be
it's
back. I've been
hilarious.
gone several weeks. I want an opportunity to address Zorhan Mandami.
He
and
doesn't
the
care.
broader
He's not
issue
gonna
of
see it, buddy.
communism and Islamism.
Right.
I do not feel that we are engaging this properly, and it needs to be engaged. It
I
needs
think
to be
you covered it.
exposed, and it needs to be crushed.
Whoa. This dude is almost funny. Like, he's almost funny. He's not funny because he's too annoying. Like, he's so grating and irritating that it's too hard to listen to be funny. But he does do stuff that it's like... But this was almost funny. He has this stack of books. If you can see that, he has this, like, giant stack of books. And he does this thing where he's like,
I read all these books. I read all these books. I read all these books, so I know what I'm talking about.
The Bible.
Like, literally, I read all these books, so I know what I'm talking about. And then he pulls them off the pile. He's like, I read all these books. You know, and it's just like, how do we fact check that? Oh, you read all those, so you know what the hell you're talking about. Okay, how would we know whether or not you read those? But the other thing about this is, like, you know, on YouTube, there's some, like, people arguing, and people will respond to each other's videos and all this kind of crap. With this guy, he's basically just a baby that Fox News takes care of. He looks like a baby, too. He's basically just a baby that Fox News takes care of. Because it is
the
like
thing with Squidbillies that was also
laziest
super
crap.
annoying is
I mean,
always
a lot of the stuff this guy talks about
remember
is like,
the
all
same
People
fucking
doing all the
episode
hard
playing.
work. By that I mean billionaires like Elon Musk.
That is
He's
annoying.
always talking about
just
hard work
re-aired
and you have to
their
work hard and
lineup.
all this crap, and this is just the most phoned in crap. Because like half of this guy's segments are like, oh, this guy is a racist and that guy's a racist because they don't support Israel, which by the way most people don't. You know this guy right here,
Hassan Puker.
Hassan Puker. Hassan Puker is very funny. That little
puke. Guard your card from pukes. Like Hassan Puker.
But anyway, all these people from other countries, and by other countries I mean this country and most people who don't support Israel, they're all racist, they're all anti-Semitic, you know, all this stuff. And that's disgusting. That's disgusting to just hate a group of people because they're different or whatever, different than you.
It's putrid.
And it's like, yeah, that would be terrible. That would be disgusting and putrid and Hassan Puke worthy to just hate a group of people just because they're different or whatever. And then they immediately do that, like next breath. It's just like they don't even, there's no attempt to have any foot in like sanity.
Reports detail forced labor, coercive population control, including forced sterilization, and massive cultural and religious erasure. A damning United Nations report condemned it all. The UN of all people.
Kind of troubling that there's like, I don't know, according to the numbers that I could find, a million seniors, a million senior citizens watching a show that like doesn't even try to hold together, like very basic, like grade school level thinking, you know? He's doing a thing about, what does he call the guy?
Zorhan Mandami.
Okay, you know, I don't know, if you're gonna do a segment about this guy every other hour, you know, maybe figure out what the guy's name is. I don't know, who cares? But for some reason he's doing a segment about this guy, and for some reason we're connecting the policies of this like New York mayor, which are basically like, apartments are too expensive here, going after the worst landlords, the buses should run faster, rats should not be running around all over the place, which they always will. Give those rats a break. You know, and of course somehow everybody's gonna die from this. You know, it's pretty much what he's saying. Everybody's gonna die from this. And then he goes on to something about like China and all these other countries, like, oh man, those countries are violent and they oppress people and they monitor people, they surveil people, and that's sick. That's terrible. That's terrible. And I'm actually going to criticize that country. You know, assuming all this is true. Assuming everything he's saying about these other countries is true.
Because I'm turning the Maori city
oppressing
into
people,
my
doing
naval
violence
yard.
to people.
I'm going to build the Venetian arsenal.
I'm going to criticize that
pop ships
country.
out.
You know, I don't know. I know that you're like just a baby in the crib of this old school media channel. But could you think of another country that people might be not too supportive of doing this kind of thing? You know, it's hard to make fun of because it's so basically backward and stupid. But for some reason, it's okay to have a million older people watching this, and it adds up, all checks out. No contradictions here, man. That all checks out.
Hassan Puker.
Word to
Hassan Puker
on that one.
To purge this spreading tyranny right now sees no bounds.
Gonna put those glasses on or what?
It's an amazing thing to see other so-called media outlets trying to squelch the free speech of we, the people.
Oh my
God. People with whom they disagree and with
It's
other
sick.
networks or outlets. It's absolutely shocking.
Sick. Oh, shocking.
So free speech only applies to those who advance a liberal cause. Free speech only applies to the corporatists that run these newsrooms, not to the rest of us.
Oh,
you've probably seen some of this, but you haven't seen
man.
enough of this.
Okay, this is pretty good. That's from 5 years ago. He's like, oh man, the people can't even do free speech because other people tell you to shut up, and they try to crack down on that crap. You can't even say stuff. So 5 years ago, he's really pissed off about you can't say stuff. People should be allowed to disagree, all this crap. Here's like what? Much more recently. Here we go.
You think about the framers of our Constitution, the
I will
founders
think
of
about
our
them.
country. You think they would have said from it, oh, okay, we have British here in our
Yeah,
schools.
let's think about let's idolize these guys and who didn't fucking see black people as human beings. I don't give a fuck what the framers of the Constitution said, right? Because the Constitution itself is built off of other fucking documents that has a long history in social contract theory. And while many of those states were colonialist states and things like that, many of them had the forethought ahead of time, long before America, to say, we shouldn't do slavery, it's abhorrent. You know? And the slaves who ended up fighting for the British Empire in the American Revolution got to go back to Britain with freedom and citizenship. So why do I give a fuck what the framers of the Constitution said when it's based on social contract theory? The only thing I give a fuck about the Constitution is how it's a living document that has been updated through the years, through a process that allows it to limit government when used properly. I'd like more limits, but hey, what are we gonna do? Black Redguard just did a post where he was talking about like how AOC said for the time Thomas Jefferson was a progressive president, and he was like, he owned slaves. Like, and so I was like, it's crazy that John Adams was completely against slavery and thought it was abhorrent. But still, compared to Thomas Jefferson, was not progressive whatsoever, because he passed what historians see as the worst policies of the era, the most racist and worst policies of the era. And to be passing the most racist policies in the slavery era, like, wowzers, bro.
Who are teaching the opposition to our revolution. Do you think they'd say, that's what we mean by free speech? No, that's not what they mean by free speech. They would have taken that guy and strung him up. That's what they would have done. Or what? Tar and feathering. You know, they tar and feathered some of the British soldiers. They would have said,
as far as I know, tar and feathering was not like a means of execution. Like, you didn't die from it. It wasn't like scalding you with hot tar. I don't know, like, if it caused injuries and stuff. Which is, like, in my view, I don't care. Like, it sounds like that sounds better than being in a stockade. Can you imagine being in a stockade for, like, days? Like, how long would your back be fucked up after that?
It's ridiculous. And people say Europeans were civilized.
Free speech for people who wanted to literally destroy us from within. They would.
Oh, yeah. Oh, baby, oh, yeah.
A sun puker.
I do wonder, like, how much of this is just this guy wants to keep his job, like, blank-faced wandering onto his Fox News set, and going, you know, how much of it is that? Because it really is like watching a baby do this. You know, and like everything's like this. Oh, free speech. You should be able to say whatever the hell you want. And then like 10 minutes later,
I don't remember American Dragon, but I remember
he was like
Jackie Chan Adventures because my brother watched it. He liked because that was the Saturday morning cartoons, and he liked those.
The best, the greatest, and people said he couldn't do it. Could you imagine those sickos?
You know, there's all these people who are racist, and they're grouping all people together, and they hate them. That's sick. Also, I do that, and that's
Impossible
okay.
holds up, though.
You know, and there are countries that do all
was
kind of
after my time.
Control on people, and that sucks, but I like it. Like, it's like everything. It's like all of it is just a guy
one of the younger girls I dated in high school watched it as like a younger girl, because I remember meeting her dad. And, like, the dad really liked me because I had just, like, because, like, I was already into film, and, like, I just brought over a bunch of movies that I just bought at Walmart, and one of them was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and he's like, let's watch this!
Fair enough.
Her dad was super cool, which was, like, funny because, like, normally dads are not cool.
Especially with daughters.
But also, they were split up, so that's probably resulted in him in being a cool dad. Is that the divorce? I think you get cooler dads after the divorce.
Not in my experience. Not in my experience.
I don't know. It's just I didn't meet many dads because most of the time the girls would come to my house.
Losing his mind, just hysterically losing his mind and yelling in like a bubble that he never leaves.
To America's greatest and most pressing problem from his perspective, which is criticism of
And
the
my
government
dad
of
was the
Israel.
worst.
Mark
He'd always like
Levin's
harass
solution
people.
What is with them? This
And,
is
like,
the Tucker
think
Carlson channel.
that they would get that he's
Who
joking
put this
around.
music over this?
Here is Mark Levin's solution to America's greatest and most pressing problem from his perspective, which is criticism of the government of Israel. Here's
Is
what
this
we
a
should do about
scary
it, says
video?
Mark Levin.
The violence that is being preached on different broadcast platforms, the woke Reich, R-E-I-C-H, is horrendous. It really is problematic because so much of it is protected. And you hear people say, don't you believe in the First Amendment? They don't even know what the First Amendment believes. Do you want to deplatform people? You know, the libs do that. I don't have any problem with deplatforming Nazis.
No, it's hard to laugh at a
Okay, deplatform yourself.
Attack on him, but it's just the irony is so rich since it's coming from a guy who's literally called pretty recently for nuclear strikes against the government of Iran, who has relentlessly defended the murder of civilians by this and the Israeli government. So for this person to say that opponents of violence are actually the ones espousing violence is hilarious because it's
arguing with him is awful or something like that. And if you look on Twitter, not saying Twitter is everything, but it's one little glimpse into things.
Okay.
I mean, Mark Levin gets ratioed by random people.
No, he
like
doesn't.
not even like you or Megan
Hey,
Kelly
he is a
or
clown.
something like that. I'm saying like some random guy will just call Mark Levin an idiot, and way more people like his tweet than like Mark Levin's tweet. He's out there. He's feuding.
If you were, whoever Mark thinks he's working for, the Israelis, I guess, you would look at this and say, this is not helping us. Don't do this.
New continent discovered,
get some
golden age.
Articulate, decent, hot woman on there to make the case.
Hey,
Whatever, you do a
calm
marketing
down,
thing.
Tucker G.
This is...
Okay, so that's this guy, Tucker Carlson. He goes like this.
That's on YouTube.
He's just constantly doing this right here. He's constantly giving this guy one of these. Make pee-pee. So this guy has no, like, real organic... It's kind of funny. He's no real organic audience. It's all just, like, the government and cable news. Keeping this guy, I guess, having a job. He's a bootstraps guy. He's like, you gotta make it on your own. You gotta make it on your own. But he does have a lot to say about how things should be from his
adult baby
world. This is funny. This is funny. This is him reading the, what is it? The DSA, I don't know, summary of things that they support. Watch this amazing reaction right here.
So the party is now officially communist, it's officially Islamist, it's officially un-American, is what it is.
Wow.
Now let's take a look
That's
at
serious
the so-called
stuff.
Democratic Socialists of America, shall we? Take a look at these charts. It comes right off their website, which is not unlike the website of the Communist Party USA, if you want to compare the two, and we will in a moment. Free Palestine. What does that mean? Well, they don't know what it means. It doesn't matter. No more...
That's it? Okay. This is funny. This is my favorite of these reactions to these ideas right here. This is some great content right here. Check this out.
No more economic warfare. Wow. End the U.S. war.
That's it? Okay. Just hit it with one of these.
Wow.
Okay, come on, Mark. You can do it. Let's respond to some of this stuff.
Wow. End the U.S. war machine. Sound like communists, don't they? Freedom of movement.
That's it, okay.
Fight mass incarceration and police brutality. That's right. They want their own police state. So they want to blow out our cops, open the gates, let the felons out, get new voters, and then create their own police state. End the war on drugs.
It's an interesting take.
College for all. Support working families.
I like he's not even responding to some of this stuff. College for all. Next. Okay, here's another good one right here.
Working families. A 32-hour work week. Well, that's pretty much what most of them work anyway, isn't it? 32 hours, maybe 15 hours.
Right.
That's a big
Imagine
difference.
that. Imagine not working too hard. Imagine just walking into a stupid set and going like this. So there we go, a guy that nobody seems to like.
This guy's one to talk about work.
But they're keeping
this
his
is all
weird
based,
little
yeah. We shot
upload.
some
Good
videos
for him.
yesterday.
Congratulations to him
And
on that.
that's continually what would happen.
Let me check.
With the
Let me look at
people
this.
complaining about
New
policy.
segment. We got a new segment. It's a technology-related one. What is it called?
What is this stupid thing called?
AI on AI. It's called. That's a great name. Okay, so if you watch this beautiful channel, you know that we have a beloved genre of AI video, which is high-rise glass pools collapsing. I think we got a new one. I think I got a new favorite here, which is what would we call this? Special effects behind the scenes junk. Check out this absolute beaut right here.
Action!
Oh, wow. Okay, take note of this right here. There's a lot of effects crew guys just
And they're in front of the
standing around
camera.
here, but notice the camera placement here. This guy's just shooting directly into the backs of these guys. That's a good shot, man.
That's a good shot,
For a
man.
second
Oh,
there,
man,
I
that's good.
thought it was just a hat spawning out of the camera, but it's another effects crew guy's back there bending over, I guess.
Gonna come out great. Oh man, that's gonna come out like.
Action!
Check out this camera work right here. Check out this camera work right here. Look at this right here. Oh, look at that, shooting right into those guys, right into the wall. Oh man, thank God that guy got that miniature natural disaster footage.
It's
so
funny
good, just
because like
shooting
the flood
right into the
effect
wall.
looks fine.
Look at
It's
that,
the
look at that
people
shot.
that it's fucking
Look at that
up.
shot. Look at that shot right there. I can't wait to
As
see
I
that
say
footage. Look at
that, it
shot.
starts flooding
Look at that right there. That's gonna
backwards.
come out like this. That's gonna come out looking like
A sun puker.
Here's another really good one. This is like the destruction of mini Dubai here. Check out this camera work right here.
Well,
already,
let me
look,
tell you,
right here,
it's happening
right
in
here
the
in the
real world
lower
now.
left, we're already set up for a great shot. Look at that, right into that guy's back. Perfect. Great shot, man.
That looks shit.
Okay, get that guy running around. Check this camera work. Yep, just leave it. There you go. Okay, one last one here. This is a beautiful, beautiful peek behind the scenes here of a volcano erupting or something. I like that there's just a crowd of people doing nothing over here too. This is amazing because this effects crew, sometimes they don't even need cameras. Check this out. Look at that right there. Empty tripod. Look at that. Look at that right there. That's how good these guys are. They don't even need a camera. They don't even need a camera. That's next level. They don't even need a camera for this. Look at that. Look at that. Perfect. Okay, this is an amazing one right here.
America
They're gonna
denounced me.
destroy New York City. Oh my God, they're gonna destroy New York City with some kind
Yeah,
of a
he doesn't
tornado.
like people with different governments, and he's an autocracy.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
they
there we
can
go.
just
Not
create a
camera in
tornado.
sight on this one. They're
In
just
a
doing this. This
studio.
one's just for
Got
fun. Not a camera to be found on this set right here. There we go. No camera. No camera anywhere. Great. Oh my God, that's very inspiring. It's very
The hell are
inspiring to
people
know that
fooled
even
by
the
this
great,
shit?
the masters of filmmaking, especially.
I mean, it's short, so I don't
Sometimes they
think
forget
I think
the
people are
cameras,
just scrolling
you know?
and don't even look.
They're destroying a miniature city.
Because like I was like, wow, this looks really good because I wasn't looking at the people in front.
Monday, the day of.
I was looking at the wave
But I
effect
hope
and
you
I'm like,
guys
that
are
looks
doing
pretty
great.
good.
Talk to
I
you
didn't
next
even
time,
notice
unless
the
you're
small
patron,
details,
that'll talk to
you
you
know, until
tomorrow.
he like
Love you.
zoomed in on him.
Hey.
Yeah. Did I send you a video? I think I sent you a video.
Yeah,
I did.
the one that I said that we'll do a specific
finally
video
found something
upload
that
on.
Republicans and Democrats agree on. They all hate data centers. An issue almost
Fuck
nobody had
data
heard of a year or two ago is now blowing up in small towns across the country. And the opposition is winning. Billions of dollars in projects have been blocked. Local leaders have been ejected from office. Heck, people's houses are getting shot up over these things, And a recent Gallup poll shows that more people are opposed to having a data center in their own town than a nuclear power plant. This one didn't start with an elephant in a room. It started with a question mark. What's going on? Because going in, I just didn't understand why these things were so controversial.
Video.
I mean, we're not talking about an oil refinery or a pig farm. We're talking about warehouses full of computers. Video. I'm Ken LaCourte, and here's what I learned. We'll first start with data center basics, what these buildings actually do and why we actually need so many of them. Then we'll take a look at the trade-offs, the pros and cons. After that, we'll ask whether the opposition is grassroots or astroturfed. And finally, we'll dig into what I believe is underlying it all, the deeper reasons this fight has gotten so personal so fast. Okay, so before we get to the pitchforks, let's cover the data center basics. These are just buildings full of computers, rows of servers and processors stacked in racks, humming in a climate-controlled warehouse, wired to the internet, and kept alive by a lot of electricity. When you stream a movie, back up your photos, send an email, or ask a chatbot a dumb question at 2 a.m., that request goes to one of these buildings. It gets handled by a machine on a rack, and it comes back to you in a few milliseconds. The cloud everyone talked about a few years ago, it's probably a warehouse in Virginia, or Texas, or 40 minutes outside of some town you've never heard of. These aren't specifically AI buildings. We've all relied on data centers for years. It's just that their spread went largely unnoticed. And then AI came along, and it's very hungry. Training and running these models requires a massive amount of computing power.
It's almost like
computing power means
chewing
electricity and more servers.
Polluting.
Here's an important number that matters in this debate. A typical AI-focused data center can use as much power as 100,000 homes. And the biggest ones going up right now? About 20 times that for just one building. The International Energy Agency says the electricity these things burn worldwide is on track to roughly double by 2030. And the AI-focused slice set to triple. In the United States, data centers already use around 4% of all the electricity in the country. And by 2030, that could climb towards 9%, maybe higher. The strain is global. In Ireland, data centers already use about a fifth of the entire country's electricity. Dublin got nervous enough to freeze new grid hookups. Amsterdam and Singapore did the same. New York State, they just put a complete pause on large ones. And the money involved? It's almost hard to comprehend. In 2025, the industry poured somewhere north of $400 billion into creating this stuff. The buildings, the chips, the guts. A Harvard economist said that if you strip out the data center and tech investment boom going on right now, U.S. economic growth was basically flat, like 0.1% early last year. For a good chunk of 2025, the AI build-out was adding more to America's growth than all consumer spending combined. And that's close to 70% of the economy. So that's the why.
Eventually.
Now let's look at the where. For most of data center history, this stuff clustered
I'm in no
handful
rush.
Of spots,
I'm going to keep these
North
units
Virginia.
by him.
So many servers landed in Loudoun County, just west of Washington, D.C., that they nicknamed one stretch of it Data Center Alley. Then places like Phoenix and the Pacific Northwest joined the party. There are already more than 4,000 data centers running in the United States, nearly half of them in just 5 regional clusters. AI broke the pattern. I mean, when you need this much land and this much power this fast, the old hubs, they just run out of room and they ran out of juice. So developers went hunting. And as fate would have it, the dream site turns out to be a rural county with cheap land, a big power line running through it, and a local government willing to hand out a tax break or two. Which is exactly why these projects keep landing in small towns and red states, rural Ohio, downstate Illinois, Georgia, Wyoming, Louisiana. The last part, the tax deals, that's where the fight really starts. Because the people who want to put up those buildings are asking these towns and counties and states for hefty discounts on their sales taxes and some property taxes. And local governments, they're often willing and eager. Many of these communities have been chasing economic development for decades of industrial decline. So on paper, it looks like a win. $1 billion facility that brings construction jobs, integration into the digital economy, and even with some discounts, the center will still pay something in taxes. But the reality on the ground is a little bit more complicated, which I'll get into in just a minute. But first, let's take a look at today's sponsor, something I use stories like this, while the other runs wall-to-wall with it.
Waldo.
Case in 40% off at ground.news/elephants. The link's in the description, or you can scan the QR code. Okay, so data centers. Every one of the fights over these facilities involves pretty much the same trade-offs.
I wish they added?
Promises on one side and concerns on the other. I'll run through both lists and then get into why this stuff gets so personal for some people. Start with employment, because the pitch is often, we're bringing jobs. And during construction, that's true. Meta's monster site in rural Louisiana, it expects more than 5,000 workers on site at the peak of the build. So that's electricians and pipe fitters, concrete crews. Everybody in the building trades wins. For a year or two, a data center is a real boom, and then it opens up and the boom evaporates. Because running a giant warehouse of machines that mostly babysit themselves, that just doesn't take a lot of people. A Harvard researcher put the permanent staffing at something like 20 to 50 people, depending on the facility. A few technicians, a handful of engineers, some janitors, and some security guards. So the town that was expecting an economic engine gets a very expensive building with a nearly empty parking lot next to it. Now, the industry's gotten smarter about their pitch recently. They don't just wave around jobs numbers, but talk about multipliers. They say every data center job supports 3 or 4 more somewhere else in the local economy. Okay, so let's talk about the money part that politicians really like, taxes. This is the promise that keeps local officials saying yes.
Taxes.
And it can be huge. I mean, the Loudoun County, Virginia, I mentioned earlier, it's the poster child for this. Data centers there, they send the county something like $1.3 billion a year. That money has let the county cut its homeowner tax rate 10 years running. I mean, that's a rare event. Strip the data centers out, and a typical homeowner's property tax bill would nearly double, roughly $5,800 more per year. So yeah, for some communities, it's a golden goose. But there's some nuances worth noting. The tax breaks, they're usually just a sales tax discount on the servers when they're bought. Property taxes often apply in full. So Loudoun County's hauling in that $1.3 billion because it got 25 years and 600 plus data centers piled onto its tax rolls, all taxed at the regular rate, not because of some old break that finally expired. A brand new town with a first data center just has a smaller pile at the outset, but it's real money. But now that takes us into the bigger problem, electricity. And this is where some of the fears get real. So remember, one of these AI campuses can eat up the power of a small city. In some areas, it's a substantive part of the energy usage for an entire state. Now, in about a quarter of the instances, the data centers are building their own power sources, often because connecting to a local utility grid can take up to 5 years, and they just don't have that kind of time. Some are building natural gas plants. Meta is even cutting deals with companies that run nuclear reactors. In Louisiana, Meta is paying to increase the state's electricity capacity by 30%. So it's a new giant customer paying to upgrade an otherwise creaky old power grid. Although critics say that pledge only covers costs for 15 years, and that could create longer-term costs for the state. Overall, electricity costs are rising. Now, sometimes that's due to demand, but it's also for reasons like retiring old plants or storms wrecking the grid, and of course, just plain old inflation. That's all baked in. But in a town where one of these facilities just moved in, it's a reason people can actually see with their own eyes for their rising electric bills. Water's the next in line on the list, and it's one where I'll actually push back a little on the outrage. The average data center can burn through something like 300,000 gallons of water a day for cooling, which is a lot. But it's also roughly in line with what a single 18-hole golf course uses to keep its grass.
I hate the golf courses
get into a lot
more.
of specifics of the data here.
I'll take the data center over the golf course.
The problem isn't the total. It's usually the where. Water use, it matters a lot more in places like Arizona than it does in Oregon. Then there's the stuff associated with these buildings that you can actually hear and see. So let's start with sound, a complaint that was more common than I realized. In Chandler, Arizona, after a data center was built in 2014, residents started hearing a hum, a low, constant drone that just never stopped.
Low hum? That's a band,
Some sealed their windows. Others slept with earplugs every night. It was a decade before the city passed one of the first data center noise ordinances in the country. The same story is playing out in Virginia and in Mississippi, where 10,000 residents just filed a federal lawsuit over the noise. Doctors say it's really not about the volume, but the fact that the noise just never stops. But perhaps the sharpest edge of the trade-off is the forced taking of private land. People's property usually doesn't get taken for a data center. It gets taken for the power line that feeds it. Because in the US, utility companies hold something that the tech companies don't: the power of eminent domain, the government's power to force you to sell your property. In Georgia, for instance, a power project tied to new AI data centers is slated to cut across more than 330 private properties, with a couple dozen homes targeted for removal. Several families in its path, they've gotten a lot of attention for fighting what they described as forced sales under threat of eminent domain. These are fairly rare incidents, but they definitely play into the public relations narrative. And those narratives, they're clearly driven by people with expertise on both sides. One thing I noticed was that in trying to figure out the resources used by one of these facilities, I entered an almost never-ending level of economic pro and con arguments. It's like a non-stop game of economics ping pong. For instance, when I was digging into water usage, I came across studies that say you can't just look at the water used for cooling, but also need to factor in the water used for electrical generation and making those computers. Now, that certainly isn't wrong. It's part of the big picture, but it's also a standard that people don't use when evaluating a car dealership or an office building with people. And if instead of a data center, you build a large office building, now you have a lot more people. And in a community, that creates traffic. It drives up the cost of housing, and they send more kids to the local school. But wait, they'll also shop at local stores, and they'll pay the town more money in taxes. So you get the point. Hey, as always, if I screw up any important facts here, hit at me in the comments and I'll address it in a pinned comment below. My sources and research, they're down in the description. So who are these people, the opposition fighting all these plans? Whoever they are, they're winning for the most part. So is it grassroots or something that's astroturfed? The answer?
Arabia has fucking
as I mentioned
10
up top,
culture
though,
per turn.
The opposition has largely united the country.
That's not much.
A Pew Research survey of more than 8,500 Americans found majorities of Republicans,
likes me,
Democrats,
though, so.
and independents all landing in the same place, opposed. Ask people if data centers are good or bad for the environment, and it isn't even close. 39% say bad, only 4% say good. Same story on your power bill. 38% say worse, just 6% say better. Now, the intensity isn't identical. Half of Democrats call these things bad for the environment versus 31% of Republicans. Democrats just run hotter on that. But that's a gap in degree, not direction. And age, race, income, or city, none of it changes the basic verdict that data centers are bad news. And the more people learn about them, the more they dislike them. Usually it's the opposite. Usually learning about a thing makes you calmer about it, but not here. Here, the education is the radicalization. That animosity is turning into real political muscle. Since One Tracker started counting back in 2023, opponents have hit at least $64 billion worth of data center projects with real roadblocks. Only about a third of those projects were killed outright. The rest were delayed, but ultimately survived. And the number of active opposition groups nationwide more than doubled just in the first quarter of 2026. Whatever you call it, something is changing and changing fast. And it's moving beyond petitions and Facebook groups. When the politicians don't listen on this topic, sometimes the voters fire them. In Warrenton, Virginia, the town council in 2023 approved an Amazon data center over the objection of hundreds of residents. The council approved it anyway, 4-3, and every council member who backed it is now gone. In Cascade Locks, Oregon, residents didn't even wait for an election. They recalled 2 officials, and the new board killed a data center project days later. In a few places, it's turned genuinely dark. In April of 2026, an Indianapolis city councilman who'd backed a data center woke up just before 1 a.m. to find 13 bullet holes across the front of his house. And a note on the door read, "No data centers." He and his 8-year-old son were home, but nobody was hurt. So is all of this organic, or someone or something behind it? Is somebody paying for it? And look, I know sometimes you guys get mad when I split the difference, but this is one that kind of annoys both sides. I mean, first, the grassroots anger is absolutely, undeniably real. You can't fake 70% opposition. This is happening in deep red ranch counties like Wyoming and in Utah, places where a Sierra Club fundraising email carries zero weight. Regular people are showing up to zoning meetings because their bill jumped and a stranger wants their land. I mean, that part's not manufactured. But it's also true that a professional machine moved in to organize that anger. In October 25, a national group called Food and Water Watch became the first to demand a total nationwide freeze on new data centers. 2 months later, a letter to Congress backing that freeze had over 230 organizations on it, and about 100 days after that, Opponents in Congress and Senate sponsored an actual data center moratorium bill. Now, neighbors with yard signs don't move that fast. That's professional campaign infrastructure. And the money behind those national groups traces to some familiar places.
Coke.
One Swiss billionaire has given nearly $14 million to 4 groups that signed that moratorium.
Oh wait, this
letter.
is
so. Yes, that's a money machine there stirring up some of the opposition.
So not
but
Coke.
We don't even know the size on the other side. I mean, as I mentioned, the industry side has billions of dollars at stake, and it's absolutely spending loads on lobbying and advertising themselves. Now, to be clear, I'm just offering clarity here. I'm not implying that any of this is wrong. This is how democracy works. And what I've noticed, it always works better when there are adversarial sides, not when one secretive side gets its way unopposed. And that wasn't always the case with data centers, because the opposition has exploded not really because people became hyper-attuned to water usage or the electrical grid. It's more fundamental than that. So let's try to see what's really underlying it all. What I saw was that the most common theme across the country is that people feel like they've lost control of their own backyard to powers they can't see and that they sometimes can't even reach. And it's more than just a feeling. Tech executives in Washington insist that the build-out isn't optional, no matter how loud the local opposition gets. They frame it as a national security imperative, not a corporate cash grab. Build the data steel mills of the AI age, or China will. The Trump administration made that case explicit with the July 2025 executive order fast-tracking data center permitting nationwide, built on the idea that America is in a race with adversaries for supremacy. For an example, let's look at what's happening at Lake Tahoe. For decades, the 50,000 people in the Tahoe Basin got their electricity through one utility. Then, in 2026, that utility announced it was pulling its power supply out of the region to free up capacity for data centers being built for Google, Apple, and Microsoft in Nevada. A whole community is now suddenly hunting for its own power supply so computer servers can keep going somewhere else. And there's nobody for the people in that community to appeal to. California sets the rules. Nevada owns the wires. The feds regulate the market. So no single person is in charge of protecting the citizens. One advocate summed it up, it's like we don't exist. That's the real emotion in this fight. It's not about electrical power, but about feeling politically powerless. Then stack secrecy on top of that, and you get more problems. And a lot of these deals got cooked up in the dark. Across the country, tech companies routinely ask local officials to sign non-disclosure agreements before they'll even discuss a project. NBC News reviewed more than 30 of these deals across 14 states and found that in most, officials had signed NDAs while dealing with shell companies with fake names. Meta ran a Wisconsin project through something called Dagus LLC. Amazon ran a $3.6 billion Arizona campus project under the codename Project Blue. In one Minnesota town, officials sat on a data center plan for 2 years before residents found out. And in another town there, residents were 6 months into the process before they even learned the mystery project was a data center. Tech firms say the secrecy is standard business practice. It protects site selection and land deals from a bidding war. And that's undoubtedly the case. But a city councilman, knowing exactly what's coming and being legally barred from telling the people who elected him, that doesn't sit right. And that secrecy feeds something older, distrust of big tech altogether. Most people can't do a thing about Silicon Valley's influence on our daily lives. Nobody can picket an algorithm. But a 100-acre building on the edge of town, that people can fight. The data center is the first time big tech's power shows up as a physical object that a person can actually stand in front of and complain about. Underneath it all sits AI. A data center it's like the smokestack of the artificial intelligence age. Most people have an unease about AI, the jobs it might destroy, the fake stuff it spits out, a sense that it's moving too fast with nobody's permission. And there's no ballot line for AI, but there is a zoning hearing. And the data center has quietly become the ballot box for technology that nobody got a say in. The surface complaints are real, but underneath them are something bigger. Who controls a town? Who's telling the truth? And whether anybody bothered to ask before the future landed in a particular zip code. So Republicans and Democrats, they didn't organize this together. They just showed up at the same protest, sometimes for their own separate reasons. One side's worried more about property rights and utility bills. The other's more worried about the climate and the oligarchs of big tech. Worries that converged at a massive building without windows on the edge of town. Me, I'm not really bothered by this political fight. I don't consider it a bug in our system. It's how our democratic republic works. And if you want to feel better about our system, you might be interested in this video. It's about how North Korea got so absolutely crazy.
Like a lot of Christians and Bible believers, try to push their beliefs on people that they don't have any reason pushing it onto. Because that's my main problem with a lot of heavily religious people, is they tend to, it's like, I'm fine if you do what you do. It's just, don't try and force that onto me, because it's not my thing. Like, what, do you agree with people trying to push their religious beliefs onto other people?
It depends what you mean by that.
So the main thing for me would be anything to do with pride. It's like, look, it has nothing, it's like, for me, it's like, okay, I don't care what you, like, who you love or who you think, because it's not my business, unless it's to do with me directly. I don't really care. You do you.
Yeah.
But I hear a lot of stories where other people make it their business, and then it becomes a problem, even though it has nothing to do with them.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, look, it's a really good question. What was your name?
Kane.
Kane, my name's Caleb. So I actually feel that we're having opinions forced down on our throat by the other side. That's actually how I feel.
Hey,
and
buddy.
That's my experience. Like, you can watch TV shows now, and it's like, same-sex stuff everywhere. Like even Star Trek, which is crazy. Like, all of a sudden, Star Trek's got gay people in there. Every show you got, it's got some lesbian or gay person, a feature episode on them. We feel like it's being shoved down
remember when
our throat.
Christians
Now, all of a sudden,
literally
we have
ruined
to
cinema
respect
and
people's
TV for
pronouns
40
when it goes
years?
completely against our opinion. Christian bakers have to bake cakes for homosexual weddings and decorate.
No, actually, they don't.
Photograph them. To me, it feels like it's being forced down our throat.
Also,
and
that
we're
was
really
America.
just reacting to it. Well, what do you think about that?
I guess that makes sense, because I'm coming from the point of view of someone who isn't religious. I see the stuff of, religious people causing a fuss, but they have done too much to try and make up for the fact, because there's a lot of series that, like, in writings that I like, that are about, lesbians, homosexuals, but that is the point of the series. I do find it a problem when it's like they will introduce a character solely for the fact that they are gay, they are trans, and that's their whole character, and but for me, that's a separate problem of they're not trying hard enough in some shows, because they just make that their one character trait, and that's it.
Because, like, I think about
something that, like, I never noticed in kids shows, but, like, I've been made aware of it in like modern times, watching stuff like reviewing those kids shows.
Is the straighties propaganda?
There's always a black friend who's like undateable.
Oh my god, really?
Right, like there's always like a really good black friend, but they never are good enough to like be in a relationship with any characters.
Interesting. It's like a nerdy black character?
Not necessarily. Like a lot of Nickelodeon shows, for example, there would be like a black character on the show. But it like he or she never gets in relationships and stuff.
Interesting.
You know, so it's like both the tokenizing of I have a black friend, but it's also not good enough of a character to stand on their own to actually be worthy of love as well.
Yeah, it's interesting. I never heard that criticism before.
I would have to think of like the exact shows it was and stuff, but it is like once you know it and you start like seeing some of the shows from when we were younger, you'll notice how common that character trope is.
I think that the claim that Christians
especially
force
on
their
like
opinions
girl shows
on other people and force their views on gay people,
because
I just don't think it's true, because if anything, the
days.
Christian church is very quiet about those things, doesn't speak about those things, is not addressing it socially.
For me, it's less the church and the religion itself. There's a very loud minority that makes it kind of, people then make it a blanket thing, because it's like,
Can you give me an example, like a specific example?
I don't have an example off the top of my head, but it's like I'll often see stories online of people who follow the Bible or are Christians, and then they will cause a fuss. But it's like I try to think of it as like, okay, that person's a problem and is using the Bible as their reasoning. It's not a problem with the Bible or the church itself. It's usually a problem with people using that as their individual problems and using their religion as an excuse. And that's where I find a lot of problems. It's like, people will often use their religion or the Bible as a excuse for their bad behaviors. And then instead of their own like morals, and then using that to, can't think of the correct words. It's like they'll use it as like that's their only moral compass, is that they have the Bible. They can't seem to use their own natural morals. It's like if they didn't, it's like I'll hear some stories. It's like, oh, so if you didn't have that as an excuse, you would just straight up be a horrible person.
Okay, so like it's not my experience that people that are
like I don't encounter it a lot. These are the stories that I see.
Yeah. I often find there's a lot of characterizing of Christians this way, but in my experience, it's not actually that way in reality. I think the opposite is true. I think generally Christians go out of their way to be really polite and kind and gracious and friendly.
What about when they're
and even
berating
when they
people
make
on
their
public
points
transport,
in a gentle, loving way, they're still getting attacked for it. Like Charlie Kirk, like nicest guy.
God.
You go watch his discussions, debates, nice as pie, friendly, listened, encouraged everybody to listen to the other side. He was gracious about the way he went about things, and yet
while
the left
prepping them
shot
with
him
apologetics
dead
to
on a
reject
university
everything
campus.
that they hear.
I don't
great.
know much about that because I don't follow the nitty gritty of American politics. Because I've heard, because my algorithm is very left leaning. I heard a lot from that side. It's like cool, but I don't know, so I'm not gonna it's not. It's not my I don't know.
So you're left leaning, and you believe. So you have. Would you say you have moral values?
It's like.
Do you believe in morality as objective truth?
It's like I feel like question. It's like I have the very broad left leaning thing of just be yourself and don't and mind your business. Really is is the bluntest way I can say it. It's like because a lot of my opinions when it comes to anything, it's like, okay, this isn't my personal business, so I've got nothing to say with it, because it's kind of like the people who are doing interviews down there about abortion. It's like, okay, I am a biological male and I'm yes, I'm straight, but I'm not likely to get in a relationship just because of the state of things. So it's not my business when it comes to abortion, because I've had heard of some family members, not immediate ones, having some birth complications and miscarriages. I'm like, okay, that might be my familial business, but it's not my personal business. That's entirely up to them. So that's kind of how my beliefs work. It's like, okay, does this have anything to do with me personally? And depending on that answer, it will kind of determine how I shape my opinion. Because it's like, I can have an opinion, but my opinion will mean less than someone who's actually part of that group or dealing with this situation.
Yeah. So I've looked into abortion a lot. I've looked into the statistics. I've just read the recent report that's come out on abortions in South Australia, and out of I think it's around 4,000 abortions, almost all of them were first trimester. They were not because of any birth complications or anything like that. There was no risk to the mother's health. There was none of those medical issues there. They just didn't want the baby. Now, to me, I find that disturbing, because a baby is a living human being from the moment of conception. Genetically, it's human.
No,
you do a DNA test on it, it will come back as human.
Shut up.
And also, secondly, you'll find as well that it's growing. If it was dead, it wouldn't be growing. So it's a living human being. And I think, for all those thousands of babies to be killed, I just think that's morally wrong. We shouldn't be killing.
Is the citizenship of the baby determined by the place of where when it comes out, or when it was injected into her?
I've talked with some of my my mom and some of my sisters about this. It's like, for me, it also comes down to there's some people where they find it out and because sometimes they don't find out till that first trimester, because it's sometimes it's hard to notice until it's too late. But it's I know some people who have had kids, and it's like they are not just, they might be good parents, but they're just not in the position to have a child. It's like, because even with the state of the world, and also would be the state of their own personal lives, it's like they just can't, like they will not be able to properly support this child. So it is better to not have it than have that child be born and abused, suffered, or
what makes you think it's going to get abused and suffer?
It's like not a guarantee thing. It's just there's some like.
What makes you think it's even going to happen at all?
It's just because there's just
it's Australia. Like we're not in the Middle East or Africa or something.
It's just there's some like people I
really showing your bias here, aren't you, dickhead?
And some people I've seen around, some people I've talked to. It's like where they just even if they would be good parents, they just might not be in the best situation to have one, and that can lead to complications like mistreating, and that like it's not a guarantee thing, but it's like sometimes it just happens and people don't realize it until someone else points it out.
32
so for me, like when I hear that, I still don't think that's sufficient reason to kill the baby. I don't think the solution is to kill the baby. The solution
emotional abuse
is, if it's honestly the case,
57% of substantial maltreatment cases, followed by other forms of neglect like physical abuse. This guy is a moron. Nearly 2 in 3 Australians report experience at least one form of child maltreatment, including emotional, physical, or sexual abuse, neglect, or exposure to domestic violence during their childhood in broad scientific studies like the Australian Child Maltreatment Study. 1 in 7 adults report experiencing specific severe physical or sexual abuse during childhood, according to data from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Shut the fuck up, you ignorant fucking midwit. You are literally talking about American statistics and applying them to Australia. You have not looked up the statistics here. You clearly don't understand the minutiae of the issues in Australia, which is why you are sitting here acting like a fucking American. Shut the fuck up. I guarantee this idiot gets all of his information from Turning Point Australia. And the fucking mouth-breathing Christian dickhead that runs it. What's his name? Give me a second. Joel Jamal is his name. Guy is a complete and utter fuckwit. It's just like he's literally just trying to emulate Charlie Kirk. Syrian Lebanese heritage, describes himself as a Christian journalist, conservative political commentator. Lectured at the Sydney Institute for Christian Studies. Connections and views. At the time of its launch, despite his intentions to do similar things as Turning Point USA, it began by acting as a broader conservative group. Its website described Turning Point Australia as a non-profit with a mission to identify, educate, train, and organize a community movement to promote the principles of freedom, free markets, and limited government. Wow. He has emphasized the group's independence from Turning Point USA, saying that the latter had no involvement with the Australian group's operation. Did you drop out? Yeah, he broke. There has been criticism of Turning Point Australia's fair go from both right and left adopting American-style politics, which is polarizing. Wow. It's almost like I know exactly what I'm talking about. This guy's definitely a fucking Turning Point doofus. Let me reconnect.
I left the game. I'm just gonna load the autosave. It's because of IMDb.
Yeah, it crashes it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this guy is 100% a Turning Point doofus. I have no doubt. So.
Then the government has organisations that can assess whether or not they're in a position to look after children and if they're not, they can put them up for adoption. So I don't see what the problem is. Why do we have to kill it? It doesn't make any sense to actually kill it. It's a living human being. It's even got a heartbeat. At 5 weeks, it's got a heartbeat.
I can see that, like, this guy ended up getting one conversation with somebody who's nice enough to, and, like, not prepared to have talking points to this type of fuckhead because he's so insulated. Like, that's all this video is. Like, it would be nice if he was talking to somebody who actually was prepared for all these dumb talking points.
Yeah.
I'm also not interested in entertaining any type of this type of person. I just don't care. What's up, you non-believing kuffar bastards?
Yeah, I think that's everywhere we're going to have a drawing, because, yeah, that's things because there's some people I know who have had kids, and it's like, I've looked at them and, like, and how they've even acted their pregnancy. I'm like, you should not
Did you report them if they were abusing the children?
I think it's like they're family member of one of my mates, so it's kind of like I don't like interact with her, but it's like during her pregnancy, it's like she would, you know, like smoke weed and do stuff like that, and it's like, and I've seen how she acts, like the few times she's been at his house, same tells me, it's like, I do not feel like you would make a good mother, and it just feels like it's, yeah, you're going to.
But what about adoption?
She's, from like how much I know about her, she's the type who would kind of use the baby as an excuse and as a tool
to get government funding and that.
Yeah,
sort of.
like she would use it to abuse the system, not at least the first few years, not treat it as an actual child. Like, that's just from what I know about her.
But is the solution to kill the baby? Is that the solution? Like, you've got children suffering in Africa. Is the solution to just drop a bomb on them? Like, what's the solution? Is the solution death, or is the solution something else?
It's there's like there are proper channels to go through, but the problem is it's a lot of people would almost. There's some people who would be too prideful, some people who don't know how to properly do it. But at least, and it's a weird thing. It's like, and it's one of those things that also comes down to the individual person, what they deem is alive. Because, like,
but alive scientifically, if it's growing, it's alive. If it was dead, the woman would be having a miscarriage. You can't say it's not alive, because that would be a miscarriage.
Yeah, but it's also there's people like, depending, and again, sometimes a heartbeat alone is on a paper and scientifically it is alive, but it might not be like it's not. It's like it's not quite a person yet because it's still in developing.
Well, it's a baby, an infant, a new.
This video sucks.
Fucking pissing me off.
It's just like
Seppo LARPing fucks. Pick up the
it's just like, wow, you found like one person who like doesn't engage at all with any of these talking points and viewpoints, and they're being nice enough to not tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is.
Yeah, I don't understand why he's ceding so much ground to him.
Because he doesn't look at what the guy's wearing. This guy doesn't encounter Christians at all. His algorithm doesn't encounter Christians at all. He's insulated, so he doesn't fucking... Like, that's why he doesn't fucking have any talking points about this.
Yeah. It's all naturally occurring. Naturally formed.
See if you can reconnect before I restart it again.
No, it dropped me immediately.
Okay. This is why I'm really just Civ has ground me down, because it's just all the time all we're doing is loading the game instead of playing the game. Like, even that one game, this already says ready for you. Who knows how many turns I'm going to have to load back now. Like, that one game of balloons, like, that was still able to keep up, surprisingly.
Yeah, I was surprised it didn't crash.
I mean, it did.
Oh, right at the end.
Okay, there you go. I'm gonna look at this real quick.
What if Hitler had actually won the Second World War?
Why'd he say it like that?
Look, I've seen a few videos on this topic, and they were all a bit fantastical.
YouTube, come on.
More like a dystopian novel instead of a clear-headed look at history. So this is less Man in the High Castle, where Nazis are running the United States. But what if Hitler had actually won? What if Hitler...
Stop! I didn't tell you to play. Fucking YouTube, bro. I'm refreshing this page real quick. Wait. Get in here. I'm already waiting around. Anyway, the way he says it, what if Hitler? It was like, why are you pronouncing it like that?
It's a bit of a strange pronunciation.
I don't really care. I'm just fucking around.
What if Hitler had actually won the Second World War? Look, I've seen a few videos on this topic, and they were all a bit fantastical. More like a dystopian novel instead of a clear-headed look at history. So this is less Man in the High Castle, where Nazis are running the United States, but a much more realistic look at how a few singular events actually could have turned the tide for Hitler, and what that subsequent reality might have been.
Hit ready, you fucker.
Because Hitler, as he often did, told us exactly what he would have done. He wrote it down in detail, with maps. And a real question is whether that world could have held together and what could have stopped it. I'm Ken LaCourte, and today's elephant in the room is about understanding a realistic alternative history that we actually could have faced. We'll start with how close he came, because the Allied victory wasn't a sure thing. Then, the blueprint he was planning to build on top of a victory. Then we'll look at some of the problems with the Third Reich and how it may have been built to break. Finally, we'll take a look at the America problem, because that stood between Hitler and global domination. So let's first take a look at how close he came to winning the war. I mean, to our modern thinking, the Nazis were doomed from the start, and the good guys were always going to win. And that's a comforting story, but it's just not true. At the very least, there were at least 3 moments where a different decision could have given Hitler all of Europe. Take late May 1940. France is falling faster than anyone imagined.
This guy's
the British Army
got weird emphasis on words. I wonder where he's
and
from.
A serious faction
regionally.
Inside their war cabinet is pressing Churchill.
So I've never really noticed
Germany.
it until
the
this
argument
video.
had some merit. I mean, Britain was alone.
Might be Midwest.
Their army was trapped, and fighting looked like national suicide. If that faction won that argument, the war in the West would have been over before the United States ever showed up. Or September 1940, Battle of Britain. British pilots are dying faster than they could be replaced. Airfields are getting hammered, and the whole force is close to breaking. If the RAF collapses, Germany owns the skies over the Channel, and an invasion of Britain goes from fantasy to something real. Or the winter of 1941, outside Moscow. The German drive on the capital, that had moved forward all autumn. In mid-October, the Soviet government panicked and began evacuating. They loaded up files onto trains. Government buildings were wired for demolition. By early December, German reconnaissance units had pushed to the very edge of Moscow, close enough to see it through field glasses, like 15 to 20 miles from the Kremlin. The entire Eastern Front was balanced on a razor. And Hitler, the same man who came that close, he also made mistakes that saved us. He halted his tanks at Dunkirk and let the British army slip away. He invaded the Soviet Union with Britain still in the fight, which every general since Napoleon could have warned him against. And after Pearl Harbor, he was under no obligation to Japan to declare war against
Where's
the United
this guy
States.
from? Fudge,
He did it anyway.
are you still in the 5th
Hitler
Gen channel?
Came terrifyingly close to winning Europe. And if he did, what were his plans?
I'm about to shut that shit down.
Here's the blueprint. The historian Gerhard Weinberg,
missed the
who
raid.
wrote an outstanding history of the war, explained Hitler's plans in detail. It ran in phases.
Better switch.
Phase 1 was Europe.